I'm eating pizza rolls.
No, I'm kidding. Hello. Welcome to another week of Doctors and Dungeon Masters.
Here.
I am pumped because this is episode 68, which is almost funny, which means next week is hopefully gonna be funny because that'll be episode 69. Anyway, I am a child. I'm Kelly Breivik, a PhD student at the University of Wisconsin Milwaukee, and I am the Dungeon Master.
Hi, my name is Corey Hernai. I am also a PhD student at the University of Wisconsin Milwaukee, in English department, Plan C. Uh, Semester's over. Thank fucking Lord
Is it though?
Heaven
Because I heard
fuck.
that the grades are due tomorrow. I'm being a dick now.
Just like a
Um.
Who doesn't watch this?
Anyways,
Anyways, I'm playing Caratha, the Div Wiz.
Nice.
Up, I'm Leila Liebzeller, PhD candidate in the anthropology department. Um, and I just realized I don't have my sheet, but I am Tali, the cleric. And my sheet is somewhere near me because my whole life is in the 5 foot square area that is my office.
Yup. Ain't that a mood? I've decided to start moving my laptop back and forth so I don't have to sit in my music room all day long. Even though it's a good place to be. It's just I fucking hate this chair.
uh,
And
Let's
last but
see.
not least, oh sorry.
no, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Eric, what's up?
I am Eric Kirsting. I play Willow. Willow the cowboy. Or
Nice.
cowgirl, rather. I mean, let's be honest. Anyone can be a cowboy.
No, you have my notes up here. Now they're up here.
Are you a cow person?
I'm a cow. A cow person is a lot different than a cowboy or a cowgirl.
Yeah.
Very different vibe.
Just move this over so I can scooch it up. There we go. All right. So let's get a recap of what happened last year.
I honestly do not know.
All I know is that on my sheet right now I have 30 HP and I don't know why.
You did fight the Hydra, for those who forgot.
Oh, and we did that
Forgot.
stupid thing.
Uh-huh.
Polly still thinks that's stupid. Didn't we drop it off? We dropped it off.
Yeah, you got some
Yes.
sweet, what's it called? Like, I think you did the memory numbing stuff, from
Yes.
the brain juice, and, why am I giving you a recap? You give the recap.
We did 300 years of planning for that Hydra fight.
Yeah.
And then we spent 5 minutes on the Hydra fight, and then we went to the thing and did the thing. Went to the thing and dropped off the thing and got paid. There we go.
It's not so much that we did planning. It was so much as
I was trying to be nice, Corey. I'm trying to be nice.
You were arguing with your DM.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. We were planning our Hydra fight.
Is it 10 feet or is it 5 feet? Is it 400 feet away?
Oh my God.
I'm never doing a Hydra virtually again. That is what I've
So
decided.
we just need to get you some better maps, is what we need to do.
Excuse
That's actually
me,
the
I
problem.
pay a whole $1 a month for these maps, Leia.
I understand that, but I need to get you some better fucking maps that are scaled. Not that the maps aren't awesome, because actually the creator of these maps is fucking phenomenal, and I love them. This is not to say anything about the maps. It is just that we need squares that go 400 feet.
Yeah,
And
or I
then it
just
would
need
have
to,
been fine.
or I just need to set up combats that don't require 400 feet. But like,
I mean-
to be fair, who could expect a neck that long?
You could expect the next level.
I don't understand how I still don't understand how the Hydra has a neck that long. That's
Yo,
all. That's all.
DM to DM, look up False Hydra. I did workshop some of its abilities in terms of like the Mind Song thing, so that like y'all could get around it. But like,
This ain't canon. This ain't in no monster guide. This is
it
a.
is
This
no,
is a.
it's a False Hydra. They're awesome.
Its speed is 5 feet.
It's what? Oh no.
Speed is 5 feet.
I mean, but its necks can go its full 240 feet extension.
I prefer just the regular Hydra.
I don't know. But anyway, we did do that. y'all made fun of me for railroading you into this dinner party. Because what's an arc without a 16-year-old birthday party going wrong? But who's to say it will go wrong? But yeah. You will have had your leg back, Willow, and your mind-numbing stuff. The only thing that you would not have been able to do at this point is have the meeting with the librarian regarding the planes of existence, Taratha. So I'm going to say it's around a little after lunchtime, the day of the dinner party / birthday party.
I hate to derail everything.
I know your leg has to be reworkshopped.
No, what the fuck is my just for
What?
today? What the fuck does my leg do? It makes me fly, right? Like,
No.
I guess that's the one.
We're just gonna pretend it's a +2 weapon for today, and we'll workshop the rest of it. Does that sound
Wait.
fair?
My leg
God.
is a +2 weapon.
Like you're a +2 monk weapon. Oh fuck, you're not a monk anymore. God damn. We're just gonna say it could act as one of your attacks. It's a D8 damage die, bludgeoning damage +2. And if you like it, you could keep it. If you don't like it, we could workshop what it will be moving forward.
Wait,
How about I
you
just
get
get it
extra
back
attack?
after this session and we'll worry about
Okay.
it later.
Okay.
She's still working on it. She's like, the bracer's defense were destroyed in the process, and
Yeah.
they're not gonna end up in the final build. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Leia, you were gonna say something?
Nothing.
Sounds
Nothing
good.
at all.
This is what happens when you change classes mid-item building. So that's why we have to reworkshop it. Not the end of the
I'm
world.
actually
It's funny.
Sorcerer. Can we work that out right now?
I'm sorry.
I'm switching to Sorcerer. Can we work that out right now?
Sure, you could keep everything and then just add sorcerer on top of that. What could go wrong?
I would like to
Wild
if
magic.
if that is happening, I want to add swashbuckler rogue
Yeah.
to my sheet. Because I feel like that
Actually,
would be a
that'd
hot
be a-
build.
That
Yeah.
would be. I don't know if it. I would really need to sit down there and really work with it, but I think that'd be fun. I mean, I love the image of it.
Right? Like a half cleric, half fucking swashbuckler rogue. That'd be hot. That would be a hot
You'd be
character.
like,
I'm just
you'd be
imagining
like,
in your
all
Grim Reaper
those.
here.
I'm switching to psionics.
Yo, all that
Yeah.
fucking unearthed arcana going ham on the psionics. I'm just like, bro, like they hired someone that like loves psychic shit. They're like, not enough
Right.
psychic damage in
No.
this D&D.
No,
so
no,
let
no.
me
Actually, this is just what they do with every fucking edition. It's every edition. They're like, we're not doing psionics this time because they never actually work. They don't fit. We're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. Fuck you. We're actually gonna do it because everyone wants it. And we're gonna do it. It's still gonna suck. And
Yeah.
that's how it works.
Stranger Things came out. That was the catalyst.
Right?
And Strongest Coffee
real
is right. The Mystic Soul Knife. I mean, let's be real. Any rogue subclass is busted.
Thief is pretty underwhelming.
You're underwhelming.
I
would
am.
say that.
I
I
am.
would say the only really problematic rogue one is Arcane Trickster, and I don't mean that in a negative way because then we have an Arcane Trickster in this campaign. But more the other ones, all you really know what they can and can't do, right? Like it's very clear, and
Hmm.
so that's how I feel
I
about
love
it.
the Arcane Trickster because I broke it. I fucking broke it.
You fucking
and Kelly
did.
will
You
never
did.
forgive.
I will
You're
never.
fucking dead.
I actually made Tomas an Arcane Trickster in the Friday campaign. But that's a story for another day.
And that's a story for the last half hour.
That is true. Yeah. So.
Before we continue, I had one last thought.
Oh my god.
Leia,
Murder
if
me.
you
Yeah.
did swashbuckler rogue and
Yeah.
cleric, you'd basically be like a Spanish missionary to like South America.
Oh my god.
What?
Listen, those people, they're not the kind of people you want to be.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, let's talk about let's plan for this dinner party.
No, we're just going in, kicking down the door.
Yeah,
feast
we're done planning for anything now. We're just...
How far away am I?
This
From the-
quinceanera is about to get lit.
want to die.
How far am I away from the blackjack table?
I mean, we're not actually here yet. This was me preemptively setting up because, and not even preemptively, or semi. I should have had this up before stream started, but I didn't. But yeah, so, I'm going, take notes, everyone. This is the 16th birthday party for Charlotte St. Clair. Her parents, Lionel and Tigra, are the king and queen of this particular city. As a reminder, the arcane artificers that reside mostly in Vara are the sort of pharaohs of the entire city-state. However, because the city-state is very much isolated, sometimes there are some nobles that have some sovereignty in a particular city, but overall, they still have to answer to the arcane artificers. So you are going to, like, as royalty could be in this place besides the arcane artificers. A couple of people of note that are attending this party are the Davenports, the Montgomerys, the Covingtons, and their families. There's going to be a couple of friends of Charlotte who are probably also awkward 16-year-old teenagers. As a reminder, you learn that the Montgomery family was the person who sent out the call for guards. You also know that the call did have, and like kind of like the symbol for the party had a symbol that reminded you very much of what you saw that back in Vara that you were trying to investigate. It's a little bit different, but it is reminiscent enough that it makes you wonder.
Like the Confederate flag.
Sort of. But yeah, I think that was Davenport's, Montgomery's, Covington's. Yeah, so those are the three. And like it's it's not just like the heads of the household, it's like the family they're visiting, or you don't know whether they're local. I mean, the Montgomerys are local, but you don't know about the Davenports and the Covingtons. There are other people going to the party, but those are more like lower level, nobles that I'm not making up every single name preemptively. So please, for the love of God, interact with those families. So what do you try and gather beforehand? You know that they will provide a uniform upon going to the party, so you don't really have to worry about dress.
All right, I'll be right back. I'm checking something.
Sounds good.
I'm keeping notes in the D&D in the chat. No,
wait, why are you in Georgia or Arkansas? Why did
Montgomery?
Because
Covington?
I missed a
now.
section in there, and all I heard was Confederate flag. So I was like Georgia or Arkansas, one of the two.
I was just going off of random names. I went to Posh Name Generator for those names.
Posh Name Generator.
No, you went to southernbellnamegenerator.com is what you did.
No.
I think we're playing Red Dead 2 right now. I'm pretty sure we are.
No, you're not. I literally, thank you fantasynamegenerators.com for their wide range of Southern Belle Posh names.
We didn't know it, but this utopia is actually just the South.
No.
Yeah, this
Civil War.
Ellie's grand historical retelling. What if the South won?
No.
They think of themselves as a utopia, but
No.
We'll see.
No.
Oh, you guys are killing me.
Thank you, Strongest Coffee.
All right, so, what are
Sorry
y'all
about that.
doing?
You missed nothing.
No.
We heard a huge crash like downstairs, and my landlord is like remodeling the apartment by himself, so I went down to make sure that he was okay. He's fine.
You're such a good person.
Oh, actually, to combat your like assertion that this is all posh names, I remembered one other name that I did generate at the bottom, the Al Arusab family, which does not sound southern at all. So, hop off my dick.
I don't know. You never know what connections the South might have.
Whatever.
All we know is
Zola
that
is also
it
showing
will
up.
rise again.
No. Also, Zola's coming along.
Yep.
So actually, I'll put little Zola. But I mean, we could just skip to you showing up for the assignment if you would like. I mean, I'm not here to force you to plan. I just wasn't sure if, because bear in mind.
Oh, did we level up?
No. As a reminder, you also saw as part of a posting board that there might be a disruption at a high-profile event.
All right. Here's the plan. We sit there, we look out. Anything looks sneaky, we check it out. Anybody does anything to harm anybody else, I'll shoot them. I'll Wilkes Booth this one.
Fuck you. And anything else, or are we gonna go? I mean, I'm fine with just straight up going. I just did not want to assume and then have everyone go like, but wait, did we know this? Well, maybe you would have.
I don't know. Do we need? Like, I don't. I mean,
you don't know. You don't need anything in Dungeons and Dragons.
I mean, Tolly doesn't really do this kind of like let's go talk to people research.
All right. So like, who has the best insight?
That may be me.
I have +7.
Definitely not me.
I have +7 as well.
Who has good perception? I have advantage on all perception checks.
Also not me.
I have a +7 perception.
I have +7 and advantage. So I will be the lookout. All right, and Taratha, why don't you scan the crowd and insight check them all? You know this rich people crap, right? So you'll look around and make sure that if there's anything fishy going on in the crowd, you'll be able to suss it out. Look, we planned.
There we go. All right.
Tally, wear the Grim Reaper outfit. Refuse their outfit, and then just look intimidating. Like nobody's gonna cause shit if you're standing by the door, like looking like the Grim Reaper, right?
I don't know.
I don't see any of us taking this fucking uniform. Kelly slipped that in there, but I'm just sitting there going like, fuck no.
Well,
we'll see
okay.
how it goes.
Here's what I would like to do. I would like to dress up like, like looking good, like, like a female lead in Mission Impossible. So, because I think, and then Taratha's always looking fine. And then we don't need the uniform because we'll be like undercover cops, right? Like, like nobody will
Tolly, if she's in the Grim Reaper outfit, will not be in under. She will just be like, I don't even know. She will just be bad cop, like that.
I mean, you could make a case for undercover cop, not for Tolly.
Will I need to make some sort of check for my, or will I need to go buy a gown rather?
You probably would. And something like that would cost you probably like 25 GP for like a set of like really nice evening clothes.
It has already been deducted from my inventory.
Nice. So describe what the outfit looks like as Willow just steps out of wherever she changed from.
It's like a simple black dress. It's got, one of those, it's like a one shoulder affair. You got one shoulder popping out. You get to, like, it really shows off the new metal leg.
Nice.
Did we
It's got that
seriously
like.
just did we seriously just miss an opportunity for Taratha and Willow to go shop?
All right, we definitely have
did.
to. I am
Or-
backtracking
It's
the shit
fine.
out of that.
Also,
Backtracking the shit out of
Holly
that.
is gonna go with you because I feel like you should drag Holly.
Zola needs to
I was about to
have
say
a nice
Zola
outfit
definitely
too.
would as well. So let's have a shopping episode, guys, or a shopping adventure rather.
Well, Willow, we need to get you a dress. Can't just show up looking like. I'm sorry that.
I mean, I don't disagree, but I will say we'll need to find something that I can wear my leather armor underneath, because I don't want to. Shit, I wish I was a fucking monk.
Yeah,
Monks
you
can just fight in
do.
dresses.
Can you imagine how badass you would have looked if you would have just stayed a monk for like 3 more sessions?
So I still have that character sheet. I'm pulling it out right now. I just every other session I'm samurai this session. Next session I'll be monk. No. It's fine.
Strongest coffee, you are correct.
We're gonna dump the leather armor. I lose 2 AC. I lose 3 AC. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. I want to be cool. Cool is more fun than numbers.
So am I getting a dress too?
A dress or any kind of some kind of attire that is befitting for this occasion.
Can I?
It's a dress.
No, I have a better.
She can wear a pantsuit. She
I
can be
wanna
Hillary
wear-
if she wants.
I want to wear a puffy bard suit, like those fancy bards. So, like, almost like, this is me in character. This is not me actually fucking up this hard. Making fun of them, but not really. So, like, they'll look at me and they'll think that I'm over the top, but they don't realize I'm actually kind of poking fun at their silly clothes. No.
Yeah, no.
Do you think you can pull
I
that
think
off?
that would be a little over the top. Remember that this is somebody else's quinceanera, so you want to just blend in. You don't want to stand out.
Yeah, I suppose you're
Did you
right.
realize that they're turning 16, right?
They are turning 16.
Oh my god, you guys, we missed an entire opportunity. We missed a whole opportunity here, and I'm very,
Why?
very mad.
Oh, sweet 16.
Because
16?
No, this is my super sweet 16, like Long Island princess style.
guess who else is turning 16? We
Who?
missed an opportunity. Franz!
Oh yeah.
Jesus
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We'll get back to that. I have
Franz is probably at the fucking party.
Like, that's what I'm saying! That is what I'm saying!
No,
We missed an opportunity!
Taratha
refuse.
goes away for about a day.
I refuse. No.
I'll see
I
you
have a
later.
fun Sweet 16 party planned for Franz. You can't ruin this one.
Oh, but we can ruin this one.
I mean, you cannot send these 3 characters to a 16-year-old's birthday party where you're also telling us something bad is gonna happen and expect this to go well.
I mean, I think it will go well for the people who are paying us because they're not going to die. Hopefully.
But this is not going to be a good Sweet 16 for this poor 16-year-old.
This much is clear.
She won't be dead. That will be what she will be able to say after her fucking quinceanera.
It's like that meme of like a person like looking around confusedly, and it's like when you realize like you're the NPC in like the main character's life,
Yeah.
you're like, oh shit, like.
Christ.
So, what do you think of this dress? I pull out the dress that I wanted that I just described.
I think it's sleek. Of course, everyone needs a little black dress.
All right, let's try to see if they can put some studded armor on the inside.
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm gonna seriously go. I'm lowering my AC by 3 for this day.
Sounds good. And Zola will pick out something that's definitely a bit more modest, kind of like, sundress style. But it's like a nice green. but like olive green.
Wait, I probably also am not wielding my shields. That's a -5 to my AC.
Enjoy it.
Do I? Well,
This is
okay. Now
what you
here's a
get for
question.
not taking their fucking uniform.
Yeah, it's undercover cop. This is a good thing. Can I, since I do own bracers of defense that were just destroyed, can I wear them? Because technically I could use them right now.
Sure.
Because I'm unarmored.
Sure.
So they're elegant bracers,
Yep.
hanging out.
Nice
like
little, like bracelets.
Exactly. All right, we drop
We
down our AC.
Guys, we should let Zola bedazzle them. That'd be hilarious.
I'm not a kid.
The fuck you ain't.
Tolly just kind of looks at her with a side eye, like, totally.
I'm almost
You-
14.
You aren't a kid, but you aren't quite an adult. It's a weird place to be in life.
I know, I'm just saying I'm a little too old to be bedazzling. I'm more of a painting sort. And drawing. And running a bookshop.
All right. Yep. So what do you want to wear? I'm gonna let Taratha have the final word on what's appropriate, but besides that, the poofy thing, what would you like?
Well, I was thinking this dress right here, and I'll wear little shorts underneath it so I could run and not worry about anything. And then maybe these boots look kind of chic. And then I'll put my hair back. The headband.
Taratha?
What kind of boot?
Imagine ye old Uggs.
No. Fuck no.
What about these ones? They're kind of soft and rubber with little holes in them. They're real breathable.
Oh my god, no.
No.
Even Tolly, that was Tolly. That would not even mean just Tolly.
Yes, Yugs from Strongest Coffee. Well, what kind of shoes would you suggest? I want something I could run in if there's trouble afoot.
Just get some. What she's wearing a nice, just like a matching. Just get some matching flats. Don't have to go extravagant here, but you're not gonna wear. Oh, I'm sorry, Yugs. You're not in a sorority, and you don't fly the Millennium Falcon.
Well, I suppose I'll just buy some Yugs for myself when y'all ain't around.
Oh God, please, heaven, don't do that to anyone. Please.
No, you should definitely wear Yugs in the desert. They are the perfect shoe wear.
Of course, because it ain't wet in the desert, and it takes forever to get those water stains out of the Yugs.
Yep. Totally. Tolly is also saying
God.
this with the full knowledge that she will overheat and probably it will be awful for her.
Nice.
Like, she is doing that on purpose.
Awesome. Well, Taratha, I think you're the fashion expert here, so I'll go with the flats for now.
And if they get in the way, you just kick them off.
I like that. I like going barefoot.
Of course, when we need to, you don't just kick them off because you're feeling comfortable.
I will just note the only situation where you need to put them off to run is if you are running away from danger. You got me?
Oh yeah, I ain't that tough.
Good.
And like,
You're playing Animal Crossing?
I am. So my wife wants Cat Village, but she's driving to go pick up somebody. She spent like 6 hours. She's leaving right now, and we have an open slot in our village, and so I'm gonna go search for cats at the islands until I find one.
I love it. And just, you don't need an insight check for this. You know that Zola would not go seeking out trouble, or she would not, like try and fight. But you would know that if there's people that are in trouble that would potentially die, she would try and help them. So it's like she most of the, for the most part, will not even fuck with danger. But let's say someone's cornered and she could try and distract and run away. That's something that she would do.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fuck with her conscience. As you know, I'm just
Yeah.
giving her the broader stroke of what she should do.
Oh, yeah. And, she'll go, I ain't that good at French braid in my hair. Can one of y'all help me out with that?
Sure. Tolly's an expert.
Do I have to roll sleight of hand for that? Or
Yeah, you
something?
do. Let's see how good it looks. I have to stop eating cheese before stream because my throat gets all clogged up.
Yeah, I usually have a smoothie, and that also does that thing.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Okay, y'all. I just want you to know, first roll of the fucking day, and also, like, on relatively useless thing.
Nat 20.
Yes!
I love
That
that
is
I
a
took your...
27!
Oh man, it is the most righteous French braid. Like you're able to somehow like make a swan out of it. Like a swan design into her hair. Like
Okay.
just kind of curved up and over around the back and then down. And it looks amazing.
Do me next.
Well, alright. I guess I can do that. That's a dirty 20.
Hey. Yeah, what kind of animal would Willow like that is not quite as ambitious as a swan?
Snake.
All right. And then Zilla goes, Taratha, you want her to braid your hair?
Good.
Well, all right.
You sure? I could do something interesting.
I think for once, Taratha, I'm looking better than you are.
Sorry, Corey, you cut out what?
Yeah,
I just wink at her.
nice.
Tolly is like, I really don't want to look like the Grim Reaper.
Well, why
She
don't
just
you
has
get a
zero.
fancy dress like the rest of us?
Because someone needs to wear armor.
I suppose. But maybe you could, we could find something similar that, don't look so deathly. Like maybe maybe a loose dress or, something like your cloak, but a little bit fancier.
Well, at least do my hair.
Do you nat want it?
Yes. She tries several times and then just looks at Taratha with like a rat, like just totally bugged. She's like, can you just do something with this, please?
Oh my god, I love it.
She can do other people's hair, but she can't do her own. It's a
Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
thing. Anything? Don't care. Well, okay, that's not true.
I rolled a
Simple.
12
Something
sleight of hand.
simple.
You're able to do a normal braid. And there's just like one little bump at the top.
That's fine.
Like just the bump that is always there unless you're a fucking professional. But it's there.
Can we just have Tolly go bald?
No.
No.
I
I
really
dig
wanna
the
shave
dress for Willow.
Tolly's head right now.
Taratha, are you wearing your usual getup?
I'm going in my fancy schmancy Alcott attire.
Sounds good.
So I just realized I also have to carry around this damn sword.
Do you?
Well, I guess I'll definitely keep Cotton Ball, my pistol, on like holstered on the hip that's covered by the dress.
Mm-hmm.
Sword is. I'll just throw the sword on Tolly's back. If I need it, I'll go grab it. Sound good?
Sure.
I dig it.
I gotta be undercover. If I'm doing all this work, I can't just be carrying around the sword.
That is true. All right. We all good to head over to the party?
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So you get there and go to the post where you're told to go for the assignment. It's the guards booth. And what they're doing here is they're like checking in people, so they're not necessarily what's it called? Like there's a bunch of people, so they're checking in like the cooks, the setup, so not necessarily guest yet, but this is like the barrier to get in. And there is a tall human male with a square jaw and just like a small scar on his cheek. And he's got cropped hair that's a dark brown. And he looks at you all as you all approach. And he goes, names and business.
Taratha Ice Corona. Uh, I'm here for the security.
And he'll look at you and he'll go, uh, a security or representing the Alcotts? From I understand, Mr. Alcott was a last minute cancellation. Did you choose a security because you thought the spot was no longer reserved?
Yes.
Oh well, you do not have to take on the security job if you are representing the Alcott family. Um, we have a waiting room if you would like to wait there for the party to start.
I would love to go to the waiting room.
And then he'll wave to another guard that is like they have a couple of guards sitting there on reserve, and he'll wave one over, and he'll go this one to the waiting room. Thank you, and he'll start leading you to, just like the front and west wing of the mansion castle rather, and he'll look to the rest of y'all and go names and business.
Actually, security.
Yeah.
And he'll look at Tali and find a name, cross it off, and he'll wave to another guard who passes over a uniform, and he'll go, there is the changing room in the servants' quarters. I will happily have you escorted once I get your companions' names. Your name? And he'll look to Willow.
Willow, and this one's Zola.
Yes, I have you here. Oh, we might have something that might be a little too small for the young one. I'm not sure. We don't have any guards uniforms in your sizes. Who hired you? Looking at Zola.
She's with me. And as you can tell by our attire, we intend to do our jobs in a sort of undercover fashion.
Pardon me for being a little forward, but where are your weapons if you indeed want to do your job?
Got my blade, and then I'll kind of shift my skirt or like just slightly so that he can see the gun on my hip.
And Zola will this dress has pockets, by the way, and she'll pull out a component pouch from her pocket, and she go, "Well, I don't need weapons." And give me a persuasion check with advantage.
19.
Nice. He'll go,
+7, baby.
nice. Well, it is your duty to make yourself known to the other guards to make sure that if push comes to shove, if there is indeed anything amiss, that they know that they could go to you for support, and so that they do not try to stop you when you are patrolling the area, because what a misfortune it would be to miss something that we need to address because you're the one looking suspicious.
Do you have some kind of badge or something?
It's called the uniform.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm asking if you got something else. In part because think about it like this. I don't mean to say you're not doing your job particularly well, but I think there's a reason there's extra security here. And there's a reason that there have been rumors that at a high profile event, something's going to go down. And I think that unfortunately, it is not wise for to just automatically trust every guard working here.
There's rumors at every event, ma'am. We do not have a badge because if we were to give out badges to any mercenary that comes along, well, then it would be harder to track and easier for you to replicate it. So that's why we typically stick to the uniform.
All right.
I will give you these uniforms to show to the other guards that you do indeed have an assignment from us, but
Do I look like I could carry around a uniform in my current outfit?
you have hands. And when you go to the the servants' quarters, you can introduce yourself. And having those in your hands would do a very good job at making them believe you, ma'am. You could leave them in the servants' quarters when it
All
is time
right,
to
fine.
work.
It was a little confusing for me. I thought that he was
Yeah.
saying like just carry the uniform
Oh
around the
no.
and I was like, that kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
Yup. And Zola will, she'll take the uniform and let you do the talking. And a guard will, he'll wave to another guard who starts leading you to the east wing. So for a little bit, you will have the party be slightly split, but you'll reconvene soon enough. The three people who are not Taratha are led to the east wing. The servants' quarters is pretty cozy. Like, yes, it's called the servants' quarters, but it's not like that they like it's slapdash or anything. It's still got plush carpets and really good lighting. There's a nice couch. Sorry, the neighbor's dog is talking to my dog through our walls. Um, and so it's just super comfortable. Like if they did not call it the servants' quarters, you would not know that it was the servants' quarters. And you enter
The
a
true
room.
sign of wealth.
Yep. And they lead you to a room, and there's a couple of people changing. Zola's like a little, kind of like taken aback, but like yeah, she just kind of steps behind you, Willow, and like looks around, like awkwardly trying to avoid anyone who is mid undress. But then she'll go, "We're supposed to introduce ourselves to someone when they're naked."
Well, this is just part of the job. Among adults, being in various states of disrobe isn't necessarily awkward. And I'll go around and be like, you know, hey, we're working the shift to a couple people.
Yeah,
Whoever
and
whoever looks the most shifty.
okay, you could do a perception
Because
check
in this
first.
situation, I trust the shifty people more than I do trust the people who look like they're really supposed to be there.
Okay. And then just so you know, I'm just assuming that you're announcing that you are like undercover, through it, and that's why you're not wearing the uniform. So give me a perception check.
I realize I don't have advantage on these because I don't have my shield. So,
Gotcha.
uh, oh, that's not as good. 10. 10's not bad. It's not good. It's not bad, but it's just 3 on the dice. Great.
Yeah. You find a couple people that look like, they're kind of avoiding, looking at other people. They're, trying to get dressed a little bit quickly and, settle themselves in. And you introduce yourselves to them, and they'll, similarly say, "Hey, how'd you get the job?" and try and make a little bit of small talk.
Killed that huge fucking hydra.
What Hydra?
Yeah, that's what I'd expect you to say.
What does that mean, friend?
It erases your memories if you don't kill it.
Oh, well, here I was assuming that you were thinking that I didn't know things or something. I apologize for coming off a little suspicious of you. I'm I'm Macy.
Macy, nice to meet you. And by the way, being suspicious of people, that's a good quality, especially in this line of work.
Well, that's why I'm working the high profile events. Don't get this far not knowing what you're doing. So, you here with anyone else, or you a solo flyer?
I'm here with a couple others, but uh, and I'll point out Zola.
She a halfling or something? She's tall to be a halfling. Is she part dwarf?
She's my niece.
Ain't she a little young to be taking a job like this?
No, she's just fine in her way. She wanted to just kind of come relax. She's not taking a cut. Don't worry.
Well, I don't worry about that. I just worry about some kid getting caught up in the wrong thing. Not that I think anything's actually going to happen today, but you might want to be careful. Taking her along on missions. I know you want to, give her life experience and all that, but I don't know. Might want to start with smaller fish. Then
Macy, I
the
feel like we
king.
got off on a good foot here. Let's keep it that way.
You're right. I don't know you. Who am I to tell you how to raise your niece?
You might want to make. I was just curious if you might want to make like a history check for them, on
Yeah, the Ashina clan.
yeah, because we are visibly noticeable, I suppose.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that was part of the reason why she's like, is this some like weird strain of dwarf that I don't know about, or and she seems to like kind of piece together what you are, um, but I don't think that she knows like much about them. Like she just knows what the markers of that clan are.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, good luck out there, I guess. Congrats on the whole not having to wear the uniform thing. This is a little too tight. I need some movement to really run around.
We solved your costume puzzle.
I mean, you got the given. Uh, does anyone in the changing rooms want to mingle with some of the guards to get information, or are you gonna wait around?
What does this uniform look like?
Yeah, it is a navy blue waistcoat with a silk, like short sleeved white shirt. Women are in a blue ankle length dress, but there's like kind of like this weird, like it looks like it can't be moved, but there's some sort of like magic in it that actually lets you run in it. And it comes with like short shorts so that you could run around and not worry about like the dress, the skirt popping up and showing anything off. So like it looks like it's restricting, but in reality, it is free to move. And then in it is sort of like a mithril, sort of like so you get like it's essentially wearing a chain shirt, but it's lightweight. And so like you might be able to hear on a bad stealth check that there is some sort of armor underneath, but for the most part it looks quite comfortable. And oh sorry, and then you would have
sorry,
a
what is the ace? Sorry, go ahead, continue on.
I don't know off the top of my head what the chainmail AC is. I think it's 16, but correct me if I'm wrong. And
I
then
think that's right.
what? And I think it's a static and not adding dex. But what was I gonna say?
It's a flat 16.
Yeah.
Disadvantage on any stealth, but you were talking about being light, so I'm sure that's not a big deal.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have that be disadvantage on stealth. It's just a poor stealth check would alert someone that you are wearing chain. And there's a holster that has the family colors as well, which is blue, a navy blue, and red. So it's like a navy blue leather holster with red trim along the edge, and then a sword in it, and it's a long sword.
She's gonna wear the stuff, but I'm also gonna put all my stuff in my bag of holding and have it with me. I'm not gonna leave it in the changing room.
Could you put my my rapier sword in that holder? That way I can, like, if I'm next to you, I could pull it uh, out of like its whole out of it, and then like instantly have my sword available to me.
Like in the like where the longsword would be.
Yeah,
Do swords work like that?
that's, I suppose, up to the DM.
One more time.
He wants to put Willow wants to put her rapier in the longsword.
Well, it's technically it is like it's a short sword, long sword hybrid. But you know, so it's kind of would fit. But anyways, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, we were just wondering if it's cool to do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's gonna be really cool if we get into a fight and I just am able to like put my back up to Tali and then like pull out the sword.
Yeah. I like it.
I dropped
yeah,
into chat essentially what this looks like for the male and female uniforms. So y'all are getting it without the jacket on top. Because some people are wearing the jacket. And that is the uniform that you wear if you are a warden in Buckingham Palace.
Like, you mean those? Who are those people in the background? They're like so big. They're so tall.
Incredible.
And quite ugly.
One of them looks like she's been around since the Dark Ages.
Y'all are the worst.
Fucking cheeks in this family. Like, fucking hell.
What's up?
The cheeks. God.
That's true. Especially on Georgie.
Mostly because she doesn't really have any reason not to wear it. Because it's not like she's blending in without it. So, yeah. So she will wear it, but she is gonna use the Silver Raven tonight.
Nice.
And we'll do that before she leaves the dressing room. And obviously all of her weapons are on her as per normal because it would be ridiculous not to them. But she does not have her shield out. That's also in her bag of holding.
Solid. So let's pop over to Taratha. You get to the waiting room. You arrived well before the party. So none of the other nobles are necessarily here because they weren't anticipating to show up for another hour or so. But after about a half hour of sitting there, there's cucumber sandwiches and fancy water that you could drink. You hear the door open, and inside comes a well-dressed, super, imagine, camp as shit, this dude. He's tall, he's got, light blue hair and, matching piercing blue eyes. It's to his shoulders, and it's sort of, it's not, unruly, but it's, cool guy messy. And he's dressed in, a cape that swoops over his shoulder. And just well-dressed, and he's definitely sort of a fashionista in a way, but not gross fashion, just solid fashionable. And right after him comes a more modestly dressed woman who is just slightly shorter, and she's got cropped auburn hair and amber eyes. and she too is also wearing a cape, and she's got like more of a rusty color sort of attire to her, as opposed to his like bright blue attire. And give me a history check.
That's a crit.
Nice. And you recognize the man with the blue hair as someone that was in the bookstore the first time you went, who gave Tali the All About Dragons book. And
Gotcha.
the woman walks over. She gives like a nod, but she just kind of looks around the place, trying to see what's around, see what's available. But the man walks up to you right away and offers his hand. He's like, "Oh, hello there. What's your name? It's a pleasure to meet you. I am Harold."
Harold, I'm delighted to meet you. I'm Taratha.
Well, it is a pleasure to meet you once again. I remember seeing you the other day. Met one of your
Yeah,
friends.
thank you for giving the youngin a book to read. She's very much enjoyed it.
Just as a heads up, it was Tali, not Zola. So I just imagine you
Oh,
wouldn't call her youngin.
but you're right, I wouldn't.
Mm. And he'll go, "Oh,
I
well,
mean, compared
that's
to Teretha's age.
true." She was kind of resistant, I'm not gonna lie. She insisted that she wasn't much of a reader, but everyone's gotta read now and again, and with these dragons afoot, well, I'm just quite curious and figured I'd share the wealth. She didn't seem like someone from around town. And how rude of me. This is my wonderful partner Magdala. And the woman just kind of looks over, gives a wave, and kind of goes back. She seems like very no nonsense sort. Um,
I do
she
the very rich nod, like I acknowledge you.
I dig it. Um, so, what brings you here?
I'm here representing the Alcott family.
Tell me more. I'm not from around here. It's quite interesting to learn about the different nobles and the histories.
Ha. Well, they're not from this particular.
Bobo. Sorry.
Rather, no, it's fine. Rather, they reside in Vara, and the Alcott family is a rather big noble family over there. They've been around for generations. Um, right now, there's been a recent change in power when it comes to the Alcotts. The youngest man has assumed head of the family, and so he's been obviously, what you can imagine, quite preoccupied with all the challenges being a young head of a noble family would entail. So, set me on this trip in his stead, of course.
Interesting. Well, I hope it was a good change for him. How recent was it?
A couple of years.
The same time as the meteor? Oh, you cut out.
It's weird. It's weird how those things line up, isn't it?
Yes. It's even though we
Great
haven't
clan,
seen.
so
I
much.
apologize. I'm talking over you.
You were saying?
Oh, I was just saying that even though these dragon sightings are more of a recent event, I have reason to believe that, they came about with the meteor or were awakened by them. I just wonder what took them so long to show up again.
Maybe desperation. Maybe the whatever effects the calamity had, it maybe reached them later or had disastrous effects for them later. Um, we think of the calamity as a singular event, and then everything after it is just kind of turning the page. But really, it's a rippling effect. Um, Decades down the line, centuries down the line, we're still going to feel the effects of this. We're in a new world, really, and we're still understanding it.
Well, Some of us, like you, I like to, if you can't tell, I do like to strike up conversation. And it's interesting to see what people's responses are to the calamity, as you call it. Some people, like you, call it a new world, and others call it the old world, as if something like this resided before. And isn't that
Yes,
wonderful?
perhaps some do refer to it as an awakening of sorts. Um, I don't mean new as in, no, completely new, but it's a different world. We're not returning to place because whatever might have happened in the past, well, we weren't there. This level of technology, this level of magical research wasn't quite there. So whatever's happening, maybe it's a tension between the old and the new, doesn't matter. Um, we're gonna have to bear the brunt of it.
That is true. Well, all we can do is hope that our good friends and companions are there to help us through it all. It's been a pleasure
Indeed,
talking
and
to you,
we're
Tabitha. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Harold. One last question. I'm sorry, I didn't get quite. Where are you from?
Oh, well, first of all, you could call me Harry. I introduced myself as
Okay.
Harold to, have some sort of formality, but let's be real. Do I really look like the formal sort? So, I'm, Harold Lifegiver. My partner there, Magdala, she does prefer her full title, Magdala, Lady of the Sky. I think it's a bit of a mouthful.
Lady of the Sky. Well,
Well, yes. But, she's the lady of my world, not just the sky.
of course, naturally.
But we come from the north. In a,
North's awfully big.
It is, especially when you're as far south as we are. There's a small mountain range by the coast on the west side, and it's quite small, not a proper city or village. So sometimes I joke that Magdala only chose me because I mean it was either me or the other person, and let's be real, he was rather garish.
Well, I have to say, you look quite cosmopolitan. So for not only you to come all the way down from the north to here, but you seem like you could just fit in.
Oh, well, that is quite the compliment, miss. Thank you. I'm quite taken by the city fashion. I fell in love with it after wearing my, well, basic robes and quite boring attire.
Well,
So,
this suits you magically.
thank you. Are you trying to, like, suggest something to him, or are you just complimenting him?
I am just complimenting him.
Okay. I wasn't
That
sure if
was
you had
all
to,
for
like.
here.
Okay, because I was like, man, is she being sarcastic? Because, like, I can't tell with Taratha. And
No, she's legit being this. She's being sincere, right?
I love it. He will give you a nice bow, and he'll go, well, if you don't mind, I'm quite famished, so I'm going to join my partner over there and have at them
Oh,
cucumber
of course.
sandwiches.
And if later, if you have any more stories to tell, I'd love to learn how your lady earns such an honorific title.
Oh, I could talk about her all night. I would be happy to. Maybe over dinner.
Well, we shall adjourn later. Oh, that would be delightful.
Nice. And then over the course of the next hour, and we could have the mingling happen, when the whole party's together. But pretty much all of the people show up. Give me a perception check, Taratha.
18.
18. Okay. So let's see, there's the families that I told you about. There's a couple of like entertainers. You learn that the name of Charlotte's friends who arrive are Barlow, Eagleway, Foxham, and Crow. And that they seem to be all kind of like, they are noble kids for the most part. Like, you might you figure that one like might be like upper middle and not quite noble, but like they somehow crossed paths and got picked up with the crew. And they are all bards. They're not dressed real obnoxiously, but they all have their instruments and they're kind of like excited to just have a nice little jam sesh on the birthday. And there is a media person here who has this odd sort, and it sticks out to you because it's very similar to Tali's familiar, except instead of a raven, it is this cute little squirrel on his shoulder. And give me an investigation check.
It's going to be a 16.
Nice. You could tell that it's definitely magical. It has some sort of, like, it looks, like, off to you, and when you look at it, you realize it looks off because it's, like, essentially a steampunk squirrel. It's put together with all these gears, and the chattering noise is not chipmunk noises,
You
but
thought
actually...
there wasn't an artificer in this episode? Think again!
Yup, I love them.
It's not magic, it's science.
I called it magic. Yeah, it's the little chittering sound is not actually like the squirrel noises, but like the gears turning inside of it. And if you choose to introduce yourself, I'll give you his name, but otherwise you just know that he is there. He is not a noble, and he is there as sort of like the journalist person.
Well, now I feel like I have to.
You don't have to.
I feel like if I don't...
You could introduce yourself with the party.
Well, yeah, but then there's this whole viewership here who's gonna want to know this squirrel dude, this name. Yeah, they want to know this.
I mean,
you can't just like spend like 30 seconds describing the situation and expect me not to go up to it.
I mean, you could also talk about the bards.
That is not as interesting as no, don't give me.
And he's got I'll just describe him a little bit more. He's got sort of like a floppy hair, like not messy once again, but like he's got the undercut and it flops to one side. It's a dusty brown color. He seems pretty put together and very sharp. Like he's paying attention to everything, just like waiting to pounce on a story or something. And not in like a predatory way necessarily, but in a like this is what he does and he is on a fucking mission.
Yeah, I'm going up to him.
How do you introduce yourself?
Hi, you're quite unusual.
And he'll look over and he'll go, "Me or the squirrel?"
Mir, nice to meet you. So, what's newsworthy about this?
Well, let me have him do a history check on you. He doesn't recognize the colors. I mean, it is the king's, or the princess's rather. I shouldn't say king's daughter, she's her own person. It's the princess's Sweet 16. What is not newsworthy about it?
Well, it feels quite tabloidish.
Well, that's quite offensive. Not gonna lie.
Well, I mean, you're the one here just kind of sniffing around. Looks like you're looking for a story. You're the kind of person that makes up a story? Kicks up the dust, so to speak?
I kick up dust, but not fake dust. I'm just here to talk about what goes on, who attended.
Well, if you'd like to know.
Spread gossip.
And I just like... Well, that's adorable. If you would like to note, and I like wave past my emblem, that Varian nobility has showed up. I think that's a story to tell.
And he'll pull out his notebook and a quill, and he'll place it on the paper and look at you expectantly, and he goes, "Well, tell me more."
Taratha Iskrona. I'm here to represent the Alcott family of Vara.
1 second. Yeah, he looks super interested now. Interesting. I thought the Alcott family wasn't able to attend as a very last minute and suspicious dropout. And you can tell he's trying to egg you on a little bit.
Yes, that's why I'm here. Alistair could not make it. It's quite the journey for a young head of a house, a noble house, and so my presence was necessary.
But even
Can't
after
miss, obviously,
RSVPing and only dropping out
well,
2 weeks before the party, not very good form for a young noble.
no, he's learning his way, though. It's very difficult, as you can imagine. If you're covering Sweet 16s, and you know noblemen's lives are quite precarious and unexpected. So I was sent in good faith.
And so, what came up for the young head of household?
So can I do like a history or insight check? Because I did not know this. I'm just playing along.
No,
with
I know.
The fact that
I know. This was you do not know this. So what
so
are you trying to do?
Did I like know about like anything between we said the Montgomerys, right? That's the name of the King's family, Montgomery?
Yep.
Okay. Any about the relationship between the Montgomery family and the Alcotts? Whether or not, I imagine if this was like a Sweet 16 and Alistair was showing up, they might have been trying to like marry nobles together. I don't know. Just any sort of relationship between these two families, either pre or post Alistair.
Yep, you could do that, but just so you know, it's the St. Clair family whose daughter is turning 16.
St. Clair. Sorry. Yeah, I meant whoever was the king. Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Okay. That is going to be, you said history?
Yep.
That's going to be a 21.
Yeah. With a 21, you know that there was a history between the Alcotts and the St. Clairs before Alistair, and Alistair did not make much of an effort to reach out to them, not out of like any sort of bad blood, but because they were kind of low priority because they're not within Vara. Alistair has mostly been working up his reputation within Vara. The Montgomerys were very close with the Alcotts, but there was a lot of rub between them, mostly because the Montgomerys were not quite as dark as the Alcotts were. So they were very strong allies, but also at each other's throats a lot. And the St. Clairs didn't, they'd had business partnerships, they attended similar circles, so they knew of one another. And there was probably some amount of trust, but with Alistair, at the very least, not much between them.
Okay. Do I know what was on Alistair's schedule for this week?
You could do give me an intelligence check, because like you would know, like, I mean, I don't think that you would know every single thing on his schedule. Maybe you feel like, oh yeah, he did mention like he had to go on a trip or something like that, but you know that there is nothing pressing for him this week that would make him cancel going to this party.
Gotcha. So I will say, sorry, just before we continue, what is Good Boy Buddy's official title?
He is head sheriff of like the 11th district of Vara. So there's different districts that have their own precincts, and he is the head investigator. I'm going to say head investigator, not so much sheriff, because he doesn't really oversee the operations, but he oversees like making sure that things that need doing get done. So he's pretty high up, but not highest in the administrative ladder.
Gotcha. Okay, there goes what I originally was going to say. So I'm going to say, well, there's recently been a rather large discovery on the outskirts of Vara. Um,
Oh,
I
interesting.
don't want to go
Tell me
into.
more.
I can't go into too much information. It's an open investigation. It's an open investigation currently, but because of this discovery, Alistair thought it would be best to be the lead noble house in pursuing this and researching this.
Well, looks like I need to go on a trip to Vara soon, doesn't it?
Well, I'll be heading out soon if you'd like to join us.
Well, that was an invite I did not expect. I'll consider it.
Please, tomorrow morning, if you want to stop by our caravan, we're right, and I tell them where the caravan is. Um, I'm sure there'll be a spot for you.
Awful trusting for a noble.
I'm just represent them.
And he'll tuck the quill under his thumb so he's holding both quill and pad in one hand, and he'll outstretch his right hand and he'll go, "Name's Fabian. Fabian Featherfire."
Fabian, Taratha, delighted.
And this is my friend here, Squirrel.
Thought you said his name was Mare.
What?
Thought you said his name was Mare.
Nope.
Thought you said whatever, doesn't matter.
When did I'm
Hi,
curious
Squirrel.
what I said. That got confused.
I thought you said this is Mare the squirrel.
Oh, I think my friend, I don't know, but his name is Squirrel, like just the laziest way of saying squirrel.
Yeah. Hi, Squirrel. Delighted to meet you as well.
And gives a little kind of like a whir of the gears, and he'll go, "Well, looks like they're letting us in, so allow me to mingle with the others, and I'll come back and say hello."
Please do.
And he'll give a polite bow at the waist and head out with everyone. And you will be able to reconvene. Willow and Tally, did you want to talk with the guards beforehand? Or did you want to skip to where you catch up with Taratha?
I'm fine with skipping.
All right.
Tolly would ask one guard who she thinks looks knowledgeable, whoever that is in this space.
Give me a perception check.
Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh my god, D20, where are you? It's gonna be a 16.
Sure. You look around and you see a dwarven woman. She's got a nice, solid, like she's total ginger, but like it's just like the most gorgeous hair you've ever seen, and a very well braided beard. And she's wearing the uniform, and you know, she's actually what really catches your eye is how she's doing like in the moment adjustments where she's kind of like letting out some of the threads to allow her better movement, like in the shoulders. And you approach, and what do you say?
She's very awkward, so this should be fun. But she just says, "I figured I'd ask someone who looks relatively knowledgeable if there's anything I should know about tonight that I might not know."
Well, ain't that a vague question? About nobles? About fighting? About what?
Anyone who might be trouble that we already know about.
Don't trust the nobles, don't trust the media.
Okay.
Trust the guards. Because money talks.
Okay. Well, thanks.
By that logic, he could have been paid off.
Yeah,
I'm not there. I'm not there. I'm not
No,
there.
I know.
But...
I mean, that was her first thought. That's why she was like, okay. But yeah. So then she will just awkwardly turn away, and we can skip over to the next. She doesn't know how to do. She is not good at this. This is not her thing.
I love it. All right, so y'all are back together. What are you doing? and I don't have it here, like, but just imagine there's a lot of people here. I'm going to list the. Actually, no, I'm not. But there's for each family that's attending, there are 4 people there. Some of which are like full blown adults, but there's like maybe a family or two that has like a teenager or a younger child, but no one younger than like 12. There's like I said, Fabian, and Harry and Magdala, and just also other guards and entertainers and wait staff. So it's a pretty full room, and plus birthday girl and her friends, and they actually you don't see them here because it's mostly like the adults, but you can hear some like music sounds coming over from like the east side. So you imagine they're kind of having their own mini party while the adults mingle out here.
So there's kind of like, so okay, okay. Good to know. I was thinking for a sec that they were like, you can see where the kids are kind of partying from where the adults are, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's like
That's why I stopped for a sec, because I was thinking, oh, you can't see, so we have to split up. But now I realize we don't have to do that.
yeah, like there's partition walls, but like it's a very open floor plan. So like it's like there's a wall, but you could see through a window that the kids are playing over here.
And there's no doors in or out of from where the kids are playing.
There are like so over here. This is a door, and then there's like a half wall and stairs, and they're playing out over here. And I'm just saying that like the door will be like a sliding glass door type, so you're able to see right in. And same thing
Oh,
with
yeah.
over here.
Sorry, I guess more what I meant was like no one could sneak up on them without going through that initial door.
Right.
Because okay, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say that over here there is an exit, but like this is where the party's happening. So over here is like wait staff going through, and then there's probably more guards back here, and then what's it called? The more of the house. But this is where the party's happening. Corey, how am I trying to fuck with you?
You know.
I don't actually, and I love that I'm unknowingly fucking with you.
You know what you're doing.
I would like to just keep an eye out for anyone who looks perhaps shifty, who is like, who's maybe like more like kind of distant. Like, there's gonna be some nobles who are like, yeah, I'm partying it up. I'm talking with all my noble friends. But is there like anybody who seems like maybe if there's somebody who seems like a little bit more out of place, or like that they don't have anyone to talk to, or like I don't know, maybe even doing something suspicious? I would like to go talk to them.
Sure, give me a perception check.
16.
Roll me a d4.
2.
All right. You see a woman with short auburn cropped hair, with a reddish brown cape, and a rusty colored outfit, who is kind of like skulking in the corner, keeping an eye on things. She almost seems like she's a guard that's undercover and doing a bad job at being undercover.
I'll walk up to them and say, "How's it going?"
And she'll look to you.
And... But can I bring like a drink like with me to like hand to her?
Sure. She'll put her hand up like if you offer the drink, and she'll go.
Hand up to say no or to say yes?
To say no. Sorry. Oh, I'm fine.
So who are you here with?
My partner. He's the one faffing about over there, failing at blackjack. And she points over, and you see a man with like a shock of blue hair, and he's like clearly like trying to like joke around and like make light of the fact that he probably just like lost a lot of chips at this game.
Which one of you's the one of noble blood, or is it both?
Oh. Try neither.
Ah, so how'd you find your way into such a fancy little party then?
Well, my partner has a way with words. He's able to get his way into anything. I just follow along to make sure he's okay.
All right. Well, why don't you have a drink with me? We can talk. I'm not the kind of person who necessarily comes to these things either. For I'm like you. I tend to be more like a wallflower.
Hmm. She's looking at you, kind of like seeing what you're about, and she'll go, "Shouldn't you be guarding something?"
I do guard that Alcott boy when he's around.
Are you trying to like play off kind of like Taratha, or doing Taratha's job?
Yeah, not Taratha's job, but more like trying to say like I'm here with the Alcotts, like, and yeah, I do make sure that nothing goes bad for them. But like I'm not maybe with the broader security.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Give me a deception check.
17.
All right. She looks to you and she'll go, "Well, I guess you just have the fighter type. You know, dresses can't hide muscle that well. Probably
It's true.
gone for something a little bit more covering the shoulders and all that."
But you can't put a price on looking good.
My partner would disagree.
You're partner of this, you're partner of that. Come on. What would you say?
About what?
About anything.
Well,
And I'll kind of slump back against the wall and just kind of look out at the room with this young individual, or this individual. I don't know,
Yeah.
if they're not that young.
yeah, she's around like 30, 35-ish by appearance.
All right, so she's around my age.
Yeah. And she'll go, "Well, I'm just thinking that it's a nice evening."
That it is. And I'll hang out with her for a few more minutes, and then I'll leave the glass that I took for her on a table nearby, and I'll.
Yeah, and she's a little standoffish, not entirely rude, but she just doesn't like being bothered. This is
But
definitely.
I guess I'll ask. Eric has a vibe, but
Yeah.
does Willow get a vibe that this person has any nefarious plans? I don't feel like they do. But
You could do an insight check.
that'll be a 9.
Yeah.
I blew the bad one on one that I knew that they were good at.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get a read from her in terms of like if she has any ulterior motives of being here. She just seems to want to stand there, not be bothered, and just make sure that her partner doesn't get into any trouble.
Sounds good.
Yeah. What's the rest of the party doing?
I'm gonna go talk to
Come here, Bubba.
St. Clair's.
Oh, right. Are you going to talk to like mom and dad? Or
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good. As you approach the dad, his eyes like widen, and then he looks quite happy. And he goes, "Oh, an Alcott. Are you a member of the family that I was not aware of, or did Mr. Alcott send one of his personal assistants?"
Advisor.
Oh, well,
Taratha. Nice to meet you.
he'll shake your hand enthusiastically, and he goes, "Pardon my question. I just haven't heard from the family all that much since the changeover. I don't really know who's who nowadays, so
Of
you
course,
know."
and that's why I was sent here. As you can understand, a young head of the household, new young head of the household, a lot of responsibilities, but of course we wanted to show good faith, both to this magnificent city and, of course, personally to your daughter.
One second. He's just gonna. Oh, she's not looking to be betrothed right now. I hope that is not his intentions.
No, no, no. We just, he's trying to broaden the, shall you say, the sphere of influence. um, get the Alcott name outside of the city of Vara and extend reach a little bit. So I am here as a show. She's 16. She could very well become queen tomorrow, and he understands that.
Oof. Uh,
Isn't she already like the princess
Oof.
of this whole fucking place?
yeah.
Just double checking.
Yeah. I mean, just of the city, not of like the whole city state.
Oh, so did Queen? Eric is trying to understand. I'm so sorry for derailing.
No, it's all good.
So was Queen referring to her parents dying and she becoming queen, the Sweet 16, or that Alcott would marry them and then they would become a queen?
I think that.
Oh, what did I intend? Yeah. She's trying to convey, like, political power is unstable. She's 16. She could rule, right? She's at the, like, he assumed power when he was 16.
Okay, that's what. All right, makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And he'll narrow his eyes a little and go, "My daughter is not to be a piece in a boy's puzzle."
And she certainly isn't, but very few reached out to him, and he's trying to make sure that, his good graces are seen everywhere.
And he's looking at you up and down, just trying to get a read, but he doesn't really seem to know what to make of you. And he'll go, "Well, maybe we should discuss this later."
I would be done. Indeed, and this is really a wonderful party, and I do appreciate the invite. Alistair wishes he could be here, but unfortunately, as I already said, difficult times.
And is Alistair looking to come out in the future for other parties? And you could do an insight check on that one.
It's going to be a 16.
You could tell that he's like hinting something else. Not necessarily like he definitely is not hinting at like, "Oh, is he interested in my daughter maybe in the future" type thing, but by other parties he's insinuating something beyond a gathering for funsies.
Yeah, so I'm going to, in the way that he narrowed his eyes on me, I'm going to do kind of like the same thing to him, and I'm going to say, yes, we definitely should talk later.
And he'll give a nod of his head, and like the wife was there, kind of listening in, but like more or less like affirming, and like they, even though you were speaking to him mostly, they both definitely were involved in the way that conversation played out.
And I want to turn specifically to, so just so I understand, is this a patrilineal or a matrilineal family?
You could do a history check.
Thank you for knowing those words.
Yep.
15.
Yeah, it's a sort of a democratic monarchy in the sense that if they want the children to become the future king or queen, holy shit, Bowie. If they want them to become the future king or queen, then they will be voted to be so. And the king and queen are king and queen until they're voted out. So.
Gotcha.
Bowie,
Second
come here.
question then is, just from the conversation that occurred, I'm assuming that he was the one voted into positional power. Is that the situation?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to turn to the queen and just say, I can see your hand all over this party. Truly, it's beautiful here.
My husband arranged this.
Then your husband knows. I turn to him. Well, you have a really good eye.
Well, I do pride myself in being able to pick out friends.
I think we share a lot in common.
Well, I suggest that you introduce yourself to the rest of the nobles. Who knows? Maybe
Yes,
the Alcots can be more of a presence here.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go speak to the Alcott's really old friend, the Montgomerys. I'm sure they haven't really spoken to family in quite a while.
Of course. Let's just pop
Did you?
back to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I just said it's you.
Oh, okay. Um,
I'm being snarky.
y'all, Tali and Willow, what are y'all doing? Because I know, like, yes, the noble elbow rubbing is stuff that like Taratha could do, but there's definitely other stuff that you can do at this party.
I mean, I'll let Tali go, but I'll make another pass at looking for trouble.
Okay. Tali, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, this is so outside of anything. Like, when Taratha left, like, when she said, I'm gonna go be this thing, Tali was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna stand here all night. Like, that was the moment she was like, I have no ability to do anything here by myself. And now Taratha is also, like, a noble person in this instance, so she's not gonna go try and hang out with her either. So it's like, I mean, I'm gonna send the Raven to some place high, like if there's, I shot this thing's head up somewhere, to be looking for stuff. And Tali's gonna be keeping her eyes out for, like, suspicious folk.
Sure thing.
And
Give
that's
me
about
a
it.
perception check.
Do I do anything different for the figurine?
I don't know. Know
Because
your
it just says
items.
it's a.
I'm being
It just
sassy.
says, I don't even, like, I don't know what stats to use. That's my issue for that. Anyway,
Raven stats?
yeah, I got a whole 7 from my perception. And
Amazing.
Oh, I found the Raven stats. Okay. And let's see. The perception got, or the Raven got 5.
Amazing.
That's how we're doing that.
Yeah, there's a lot of shiny stuff in this fucking
dudes.
party, and the Raven is loving all that shit. You are keeping a lookout. You can't really find anyone that looks suspicious or off color, but you are approached by a young boy who is dressed in, fancy boy clothes, and he, hurries over to you, and he goes, "Hi there. You want to see my pet rock?"
Yeah, so she will, like, kneel down and say, "Hello, yes, I would love to see your pet rock."
And he'll pull it out of his pocket, and he goes, "Its name is Puddles. You want to know why his name is Puddles?"
Oh God, I hope this isn't a trick. Why is its name Puddles?
Because I found him in a puddle.
That makes sense.
It was by the
Good name.
meteor. I got to go
Really?
see it.
Hmm.
My parents are archaeologists.
The best kind of parents.
So I got to go on an expedition with them, and I got this puddle. He says hello.
Hello, Puddle. How young is this kid?
Like 10 or 11-ish.
Okay. All right. Cool. Not like 4.
No.
Because that is what I was anticipating from the rock named Puddle.
Oh no, this kid is just like totally like coddled, and like not so much that like he would be incapable, but like he's definitely been like encouraged to like talk to people, and no one's never really said that what he likes is stupid, so he hasn't really learned that sort of inhibition yet.
Are you saying that what he likes is stupid?
Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. No, I'm kidding. But like, going up to a stranger and saying, "Hey, this is my pet rock, Puddles."
I wish
little
that everyone in the world was so passionate about the things that they were passionate about that they would just come up to me and be like, "Hey, I got this turtle. Isn't it fucking cool?" I wish.
That's true. That is true.
I mean, and it's a person in uniform, right? Like someone he has been, as a rich person, told he can trust implicitly.
True.
So I get it. But yeah. So who are your parents?
Well, my parents are over there. They have a cool pet too. You want to see them?
What kind of pet is it?
It's a pet dragon, but a little dragon, like a kitty cat.
Like a baby dragon?
Oh no, it's as big as it's gonna get. We found them by the meteor too.
Awesome. Yes, she will come see these dragons.
Nice. So you walk over at around the same time that you see Taratha like finishing up her conversation with the St. Clairs, and there are two tall people. They both are human, and they're dressed very nice, but you could tell like they're fucking nerds. And it is actually no, you'll have to talk to them to get their names. But one of them is holding a cat-sized dragon that seems pretty content with just kind of laying in their arms and being stroked. And they kind of like are like hanging over like kind of like a sloth on a tree, so not being held baby style. And it is a silver dragon. And he'll go, "Those are my mom's."
Well, your moms are super epic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool dragon.
Do you say that to the one holding it?
No, I say that to the kid.
Okay.
I haven't even said anything to the parents.
And he'll drag you over to the mom holding the dragon, and he'll go, "Mom, the nice guard wants to meet Molly." And the mom will look over at him and smile and look over to you, and she'll go, "Oh well, you could look, but not to be rude, but don't touch, cause she's quite feisty. She doesn't really like strangers, but we're bringing her out to try and get her a little bit more used to it." And she'll hold out her hand to shake. I'm Antoinette, by the way, Antoinette Montgomery.
Yeah, so she'll totally shake her hand, and say, Talia Thievesbane.
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you. This is my wife, Camilla. You've already met my son, Seamus, and our other son, Arlington, is, over there. Oh, God, he needs to eat a little bit, cleaner. We're trying to work on his manners, but, sometimes they're just stubborn at that age.
How old does their other kid look?
It looks about like 15 or 16. And, yeah, and like pretty much like he's not even eating that bad. It's just like he's probably just holding his fork the wrong way or something.
Okay. Alright.
And like they're not like being like super stuck up about it. They're just like, "Ah, come on, like we fucking told this kid like 7 times. Don't shovel it, put it on the other side, Arlington."
Well, yes, I met Puddle, and your son insisted I meet Molly, so that is why I'm here.
Well, would you like a drink? You look I know you're here on duty, but I mean, no harm in having a drink. I feel like you guys aren't taken care of during the time. You're told to eat, quietly beforehand and after, but just, you're part of the party too.
Yeah, Tali will just kind of like hold up her, I don't know, a water skin, and just be like, "Oh no, I am on duty and I should not imbibe."
Oh, well, I won't force you. I just, wanted to make sure you felt comfortable. We do appreciate you being here and, keeping us safe. And of course, young Seamus, we always tell him to, try and make new friends and be friendly, and he really does take that to heart. We're quite proud of him.
Well, a guard who likes you is one to be paying attention to you more than others, so I understand.
Oh, we had no political reasons for that.
Oh no, I know. It is a good thing to always be friendly with everyone. She's like trying to walk him back and say, but it's fine.
And at that moment, Harry comes over like completely enthralled with the little dragon, and he walks over and he goes, "Oh, look at you!" And he reaches his hand out to pet it, and Antoinette's like, "Ah, no," and she's I'm fine with animals." And she's cringing, waiting for this dragon to bite him. But actually, it kind of starts to purr, and Harry kind of he looks kind of smug about it, and he goes, "I've got a way with animals."
Ollie is really taken aback that he is here. She does not like it when people start showing up in multiple spots in her life.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not okay.
And he'll see you, kind of look uncomfortable, and sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just noticed the dragon you got there, quite cute. Sorry, I'll let you go. I really apologize. How's the book, by the way? And oh no, wait, I gotta go. Sorry. And he'll walk out and start mingling with others. Let's go to Willow. Can I get that perception check for off characters?
13.
Roll me a d4 again.
3.
So one thing that's looking a little off to you is this guy with a mechanical squirrel and floppy hair, and I think he goes in, spends some time talking to the kids in the bard room, but then comes out looking a little bit more focused beforehand. You don't think that he did anything nefarious with the kids by any means, but you probably get the sense that maybe he chatted with them to try and get them to accidentally let something up, and now he's coming at the room with a fresh set of eyes. But you don't notice anything else that seems amiss.
I'm gonna watch him, but try to make it not realize that I'm watching him for a little bit.
Give me an investigation check or an insight check, whichever.
20 insight.
Okay. You can tell that he's not really paying attention to the things that you think he should be paying attention to right now. He's definitely on the case for something, but you don't know what. You don't necessarily think that. Actually, you wouldn't even know whether it's something that's going to harm others or not. You just know that he is not necessarily doing the job that you think he should be doing right now.
Like his job as a reporter, or Willow doesn't realize he's a reporter and is Eric needs to understand.
That's true. I was assuming that Taratha would have mentioned something. Taratha,
Sure,
would you have mentioned something?
All right, what happened?
Would you tell Willow about the people that you met in the waiting room?
We haven't talked yet.
I told you that you met up with one another. But
Technically, you did. I don't think it would have been. I don't think I would have mentioned small talk. I think I would have said I had small talk, but I don't think I would really go into grave detail about people I particularly met.
Okay. But
Right.
Even still, I mean, he's got a quill and pad. You could tell.
I'll keep tabs on him for a while.
Yep.
That's all.
And it
But
seems
I'm not
like
gonna
he's
make a
trying
move.
to find nooks and crannies in the place, almost finding ways to get access to other places that he should not have access to.
If he leaves this room, I'll go talk, confront him.
Sounds good. He's not done that yet, but we'll go back to Taratha. Taratha.
Go talk to those Montgomerys.
All right. You approach the Montgomerys. Tali is currently with them. It is Antoinette, Camilla, and Seamus, and their dragon, and Tali. And Puddles.
Just all delightful.
Do you say that to them?
No, I was just kind of speaking out loud. So, given the history between the Montgomerys and the Alcotts, have I met any of these people before?
I would say no, only because Alistair hasn't really worked with them, and I don't think that you really were an advisor to him necessarily before. Like I don't think you were an advisor to his dad. And that would have been the main way that you would have met them.
Just the people I wanted to see. Hello. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Taratha Icecrona, and I'm here representing Alistair Alcott.
Yes.
Family.
Yes. Haven't heard that name in a little while. I mean, I guess we did. We expected him to show up, but then he didn't, and I guess he sent you in his stead. Hello.
Yes.
I am Antoinette, and this is Camilla. We've got Molly here. She's quite fussy, so please don't try and pet her. And then our son Seamus and his pet rock Puddles.
Delighted, truly, and Alistair wishes he could be here, especially to speak to you. I hope I will suffice, obviously.
I mean, of course, anyone that an Alcott sends is one that they trust to do their work for them. So I don't want to be a barrier to, rekindling what our families used to have. Hopefully, a little less fiery than in the past, but from what I hear, from what I've read of him at least, he's not quite like his father, and that makes us a little bit more comfortable.
Yes, he is very much trying to temper the old image of the Alcott. Obviously, strength is important, but more even hand. The volatility that is plagued the Alcotts. Hopefully that won't be as apparent or as careless as it's been in the past. But yes, I'm here to hopefully begin working together so that these two families can begin working a bit more closely to each other.
Well, I suppose you'll be... And she'll pause, and she'll look to Tali and she'll go, I really am sorry. There's certain things that we as nobles are not allowed to say in the presence of others.
Yeah, before she even finishes, she will just put up her hand as if to tell, I've already forgotten her name, to stop.
Antoinette.
And Antoinette to stop, and just kind of bends down and says, I hope Puddle has a fantastic evening, and just turns and leaves.
Solid. And she'll look to you, the meeting later.
Yes, of course.
Well, I look forward to it. Is there anything you wanted to talk about? I mean, I don't want to talk politics all night. This is still a party, even with the meeting later, but, we want to enjoy ourselves too.
Well then, why don't you tell me a bit about yourself?
Oh, well, my wife and I, we are archaeologists. We recently went on a trip up north to the northern city-states, sanctioned, of course, Taratha, you would just know that like leaving Pajania willingly is like super looked down on unless you are like part of a caravan that has to do business outside, like where like your job forces you to have to do something like that. Because typically the only kinds of people that leave Pajania are people who are exiled, because Pajania is sort of like the utopia. Why would you ever want to leave it unless there's something wrong with you? So she just says like it's sanctioned as in like her job. It's part of her job. It's not like you should think of it as off color that she went. We recently came back from an expedition to see the first meteor. Oh, wow, we learned so much. I mean, some of it I can't tell you about because it was funded. So I until that information is published through them, I can't really divulge in the specifics. But
Oh, naturally.
but let me tell you, it is amazing.
What did you feel when you were up there?
Well, I am I'm not a person gifted with magic, but the closer we got, uh, the closer we got, just I was able to do stuff that I couldn't. I could see better, and I didn't have to sleep and I didn't have to eat, and just being in its presence allowed me to just sit there and work and research. And Camilla, tell her. And Camilla's like, she's definitely a more reserved sort. And she nods her head, and she'll go, "Yes, it was actually quite amazing. We didn't expect to get as much work done as we did, but we were able to because, like my wife said, we didn't have to sleep, we didn't have to eat, we just got to work. And so I thought, we could take a little bit of the magic back with us. I promise we didn't disturb the site. We left everything, as you know, perfectly as we could. I just couldn't help but take a small piece of rock for our son. Arlington, he's not quite the nerdy sort like the rest of us, so we got him something different on the way back. But, well, good old Seamus, he got Puddles.
Of course, and where is your son now?
Which one, Arlington or Seamus?
Arlington with the rock.
Seamus is with the rock.
Oh, okay. So Seamus has the rock.
Yeah. Seamus is just kind of milling about, showing off the rock to other people.
Would you mind if you called him over? I have been studying the calamity, and I would love to at least see a bit of the meteor.
Oh, sure. Give me one moment. And Camilla will walk over to her son and kind of like pat him on the shoulder and brings him back. And Seamus goes, "Do you want to see Puddles?"
Yes, I would love to meet Puddles.
And he'll hold it up, and it's definitely like a chunk of space rock. You can have a look at it. He will let you hold it, but like obviously they would want you to be careful with it. But he is eager to show and tell.
Like I'll like get down to his level and like put out my cupped hands to like show to him that I'm not gonna like obviously harm the space rock.
Yeah, he'll put it into your hand real carefully, and he'll go, "Puddle's favorite thing is to get pet."
Yes. I will do that, and then do I feel anything when I hold it?
You could do an Arcana check.
It's gonna be
A what?
17.
Okay. There is definitely some pretty intense magical properties of this rock, but most of it is sort of inert because, like, this is a very itty bitty tiny ass piece of the larger thing, and if this is the sort of aura that you're getting from this tiny piece, like, you can only imagine the sort of power that comes with the full rock itself.
And then I want to turn to all of them really and just think, I don't mean to be forward, but this is a quite rare opportunity for me. Would you mind if I cast Identify on this piece of the meteor?
I mean, if you want, I mean, we've already done that ourselves, or rather, we had, someone from the expedition team do it already. I could tell. Can I? I mean, I guess if you're gonna do it, I could tell you, but don't tell anyone I told you.
Oh, of course. It's for my own research. I have a couple working theories, and this is the closest I've gotten, frankly.
I mean, there is the second meteor. We're going to be on the expedition crew to see the second one. If you're interested, you're more than welcome to join us.
Yes. Yes.
Now, just so you know, this would take Taratha, like, unless the party goes with her, this is going to be, like, a big to-do. So, you could say that, like, you're interested, but if you commit to this might be taking Taratha out of the party if the party does not go.
That's fine.
Sounds good.
Well, we can talk about that offline later, but like, this is very much a part of, like, her own personal, Anyways, so...
Yep. So she'll explain to you that, it's nothing, it's like the thing itself is not necessarily a source of magic, but that, it sort of absorbed it in its path somehow. Like, this came from out of this, plane even. So, like, just sort of the magic that, like, just got soaked up into it in its, like, interplanar travel before it hit is how it sort of got its magic, but it's not any one school of magic. It's not any, like, kind of spell or anything like that.
Yeah.
But they sort of, like, did sort of, like, peeling back the layers, and layers upon layers upon layers, and, they know that, this came from, like, one of the celestial planes.
Yep. And then I will hand this very gracefully and delicately back to Seamus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say, you're a very, very lucky boy.
Mm-hmm.
Do your best to make sure.
My mom's are the best.
Puddles, correct?
Yes, Puddles.
Yes, they really... take care of Puddles. This is...
oh, don't worry. I'll take care of Puddles.
Literally... I know you will, and I trust you. Here you go.
He's an eager beaver.
And I want to turn back...
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I want to then turn back to Antoinette and Camilla.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would like to talk about more of your expedition, but something you might be interested in. Do you have any other kind of scholarly or research interests when it comes to your archaeology?
Oh, well, anything in rocks we like.
Okay. I reached quite a big find outside of Vara. And I'm curious if you might know anything about or any other kind of connections to it. We found an old library, an ancient library.
Oh, we have discovered a few of those, yeah.
Any worshipping Bahal?
No, but gosh, if that ain't concerning, I don't know what is.
Yeah, it is. And it's strange that not really strange. It's interesting that you are immediately alerted to it, and yet the people of Vara don't really seem to care.
I mean, are the people of Vara archaeologists?
Shitty ones.
Well, not everyone knows the stuff that we know or knows to be worried about the stuff that we're worried about. So, I wouldn't judge them. But I would tell them to have caution.
And then, Kelly, the coat of arms, what family was most associated with that?
What do you mean by that?
On the invite, the coat of arms that we've been trying to search for. Was there a family associated with it?
like it would have the Montgomerys would have had to made the choice to put that on, but you don't know if it's associated with any one family.
Right. And so I want to just like pull that out and be like, can you tell me anything about this symbol here?
You come here on behalf of the Alcotts, but don't know.
Changes in power make sort of a knowledge vacuum.
Well, there was, for lack of a better word, an old order with a certain goal whose, at the heart of it, was good, but in practice and implication was the furthest thing from it. We're trying to revive that, but with good intentions.
Are you able?
Oh, one more time.
Are you able to share the goal?
Well, that's what the meeting's for later.
Well, I will be all ears. Let me tell you.
Of course. Willow, because you're keeping an eye on him, you see Fabian just kind of milling about, kind of suspiciously somewhere, and then he touches his chest and is invisible.
Where did he start being invisible?
He started like over here. And just bear in mind, like, this is back here is just kind of more open stuff. The only way out is this door to the outside, and then this door to sort of the servants' quarters and the rest of the house eventually.
Okay, I don't have a way to see invisibility. But I know that Taritha does, if I recall correctly. So
Yes.
how close?
Activate it. Yeah.
How close is Willow to Taritha?
I mean, I could say you could get there in like 15 seconds. Like, it's without arousing suspicion.
All right, I'll go ahead and I'll do that while keeping my eyes on any possible doors or anything that guy could be going into.
Mm-hmm.
Like if like a door opens without, or something
Yeah.
like that, with something like that.
Mm-hmm. So what do you say to Taratha, who's currently talking to the Montgomerys?
Hey there, I need your assistance right now, Taritha. That's okay.
Of course. Antoinette, Camilla, and of course, young Seamus. It was delightful talking to you. I'll see you at the meeting later, but I do want to talk more about this expedition.
Of course.
And I'll kind of whisper in your ear. Just saw that reporter guy go invisible. Might be trying to sneak around and up to no good.
Okay. Where'd you see him go?
Over there, and I like nudge in that direction.
So I'm gonna activate my little see invisibility ability. It's 10 feet, so I'm just gonna like saunter over there, and then just kind of see if I can find it.
It only has 10-foot range.
Like.
Yes, because it's
like a
doesn't
racial
have
thing.
to spell. It's not a racial. It's part of my 10th level divination wizard. I can do comprehend languages, see invisibility, and there's like a third one. So it's not great, but it's free and it doesn't take an.
So it's not the OGC invisibility spell.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, well, that's too bad, but that's okay.
Okay. Taratha, when you are right here, you do not see him. Where do you go next?
Can I do a fuck?
And then Willow, just so you are aware, Zola has long since set up camp with the teenagers in the bard room.
As she should. You mean set up camp like she's just hanging out, like
Yeah.
being a kid for once in her short life.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that is good. That is the point of her being here.
Okay. Let's see here. Can I do? What's around me? Is there like a door around me, or
Yeah,
like
so
what kind of area is this?
There's the door here. There's guards over here. There are just people mingling around in tables, walking around. And there's like the back room area, but like this is more party stuff. So there's just, if you go here, there's more nobles.
Right. Does the door look like it's recently been opened or tampered with?
You could do an investigation check.
Math is hard. 21.
Nope. I mean, it's a door that everyone's going in and out of, but it has not opened since Willow came up to you.
Okay.
So we're pretty sure that they're still in the room then?
It could be assumed.
Okay.
You know,
I asked that I was
Yeah.
looking at any doors to see if they were opening. So
Yep.
that's all, you know.
Yep, but I'm just saying that
I
in
could be
terms
a
of like,
fool.
I just didn't want to give a yes or no based on doors necessarily, like, but it's pretty safe to assume.
Yeah.
You could move Taratha. Like, I'm just saying when you are
Yeah.
standing.
No.
in here,
That. Yeah. I'm just debating whether or not I want to cast scrying and just expedite this.
So doesn't scrying have a long cast time?
Let me check. I think it depends. Let me check.
It's 10 minutes.
So yeah, just go to the bathroom and take a scrying whiz. Whiz did.
I mean, I could
like,
always just
fucking-
insta sending or telepathy them or something like that if you know.
No. Well. Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna try to walk around, I guess, and just kind of like saunter around. I'm looking for the guy who obviously has like flutes of champagne.
Look for anybody who's like the most important people and kind of just walk by them, because like it could be that the reporter's trying to get in on some conversation and hear some shit.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Which direction do you go?
I
Here?
think
Here or back here?
I'm gonna be completely honest. When you did that, there's a lag.
Oh, sorry. So between the two guards area over here, in the sort of like mingling area over here, or in like the back area to the west?
I'll do the first one.
All right. You start walking, and like almost as you go, like when you get to here, he comes into the field of your vision. He is standing like in front of the door, staring at it, like waiting for it to open, like for someone to go in or to go out.
Do you just let me know, Taratha, if you signal to me or Tali that you found them?
Okay. I'm going to go. Are there like people like just kind of gathered around the door, or is it just the guards and
It's
his
just
invisible self?
guards and his invisible self. Like there are some people that might have like a walking pathway over here, and he's taking care to avoid them.
Gotcha. Do I know when and where the meeting's taking place?
You would know that the meeting is taking place sometime in the middle of the house. There's like an entertainment interlude, and the adults are gonna kind of go away during that while the kids are occupied by the entertainment.
Gotcha. I think I'm just kind of, because people are just kind of milling about, walking through. I'm going to kind of like just kind of walk past, and as I'm walking past, I am going to try and like stick my leg out and kind of like nudge him a little bit off balance to show him I know that you're there.
Oh, right. He, like he is like nudged forward a little bit. Do you keep walking, or do you, like kind of stand nearby?
I kind of walk a little bit. So like I kind of walk forward and I just kind of like look behind and then like meet him dead in the eyes, and
Mm-hmm.
then just keep walking.
He hesitates, not quite sure what to do. Give me an insight.
24.
You could tell that he was going to say something to you, but because you walked away, he just turns back and keeps his eye on the door.
Then I want to make eye contact with Willow and just kind of like nod towards the door.
I assume. What do you mean by that? Just so that I understand.
I look you in the eyes and I nod my head towards the door.
I'd I'll walk over to where the nudging happened, and I'll kind of just stand right next to right over there, right next to the door.
So you're standing next to the door, like next to him.
Yeah, and I'll just say, I'll kind of just say, "Ooh, I'll telepathy to him because I think I can do that even if he's invisible."
Yeah.
And I'll just say, "You just looking for a scoop? Or are you looking for something worse?" And just kind of trying to get him to buzz off because I don't think that he's actually a bad guy.
You hear in your head, I know something's happening that should not be when the entertainment comes. I am here to make sure bad stuff doesn't happen in the future.
Do I believe him?
You can do an insight check.
19.
You can tell that he definitely, like, he believes he is telling the truth. Whether or not you think that, like, because that, he is not lying to you. He is not deceiving you. He believes that something bad is going to happen. Maybe not in this moment, but he knows that if he does not keep an ear out for whatever is secretly going on in this party, he thinks that something bad will happen down the line. And that's what he's looking to stop.
Who are you working for? Or rather, no, it'd be like, to what end are you working for?
Telepathy still?
It's all telepathy.
Okay.
Unless I know otherwise.
Yep. To the end that sees that no one gets hurt.
When you say no one, who do you mean?
The people, the government, the way things are meant to be.
And I trust all this?
All of this, he is telling you the truth. Like, I don't want to say that, like, what his goals are aligned
No,
with yours
I get it. I
necessarily,
get
but,
it.
yeah.
No, I don't think that he has the same goals. That's why I asked to what end. Because for
Yeah.
him, no one getting hurt could mean, the rise of the working class, right? We need the
Exactly.
nobles to get fucking killed. But the way that you're implying is like that this is somebody who's vested in keeping the order that these nobles represent alive to some degree. And so I'll say, what's happening with the entertainment?
Nothing that I know of. I think it's a distraction. And I want to know what happens behind closed doors.
Why?
Because I know that symbol, and that symbol means no good.
What symbol are they referring to?
I mean, you've been around enough with the party. It's the symbol that's on the flyer.
What is no good about it?
Don't know much. The person that told me about it got killed.
What's your name?
Fabian.
What's your last name?
Featherfire.
And I trust that this is his actual name.
You could do another insight check. I don't want to keep giving
11.
You have no reason to believe he's lying to you.
I'm trying to decide if I should just let him go. I'll ask, what do you think the entertainment is a distraction for?
Whatever the nobles get up to when the entertainment's going.
Okay. I'll say, I can't let you go through that door, right?
Look the other way.
Under one condition.
What?
I am going to send you a message, Fabian Feather. Fuck. I can't remember the second part of the name.
Featherfire.
Featherfire. Tomorrow in the morning, you will meet up with me and tell me what you learn. Because Willow has a pretty vested interest in learning about Illuminati secret noble shit for obvious character reasons.
And you'll hear, you got it.
I assume it wouldn't be too hard to, this is Eric asking out of character. I assume it wouldn't be too hard to figure out where this guy lives or who he works for or whatever, and find him if he doesn't, right? Like, meet up with me.
I mean, if you have a name, you would be able to use that name to find him through some sort of record.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a fake name, then you would not.
But I trust that it is his real name, so. Mm-hmm. All right. Then I'll just say, see you tomorrow. Don't do anything stupid.
All right. Tali, what have you been up to while everyone's playing, investigator?
I mean, she is likely just trying and failing at seeing people doing shady shit. I don't know, just making sure that people are safe and, no one's getting too drunk and etc.
I will telepathy to Taratha and to Tali to say that the entertainment is some kind of distraction, and the nobles are planning their own thing during that time. I'm unsure exactly what this means.
Oh, I know.
All right. Because it's 4:30, I'm going to kind of wrap it up. But if you wanted to announce that you would do something to prep or anything like that, but it gets to the point of the party where the entertainment comes in and the adults they give a speech about how much they love their daughter, and they have this extravagant party and it's all for her, and they're gonna let the teens have their time right now while the adults go do boring stuff like smoke in the back room. So teens have at it while your parents be old farts, that kind of thing. But Tara, all of at this point, this is their moment. So
So excited.
Yep. And as of right now, and you could try and figure this out like next week so you have some time to think about it, but as of right now, only Taratha would have access to go in. If you're okay with not being able to go in or having to find a sneaky way around it, then that's fine.
I already
But
did. I have been reporter bitch telling me everything.
yeah.
This will also be interesting because if Taratha tells me anything and then reporter bitch tells me a different thing, that will be very interesting.
Yep. But I just want to give you a heads up on that. That as it stands, Tarith is the only one that has access to this meeting. And let's wrap it up there.
Woo!
Thoughts?
Woo, have to create a new character. Woo!
I mean, you
or
don't have
us
to,
two will create
yeah.
a character to go with Taratha.
I mean, or you could also like do downtime time skip, because I'm also down with that as well. Like where we have like a maybe like a 1 or 3 shot where you get to the thing, you learn some stuff, you come back, and narratively it's been like 3 months.
I'm just saying,
Makes
you can't
sense.
be like, oh yeah, like casual, like, oh yeah, we could go to the crater, and like say that to Tara that she has to go to the crater.
To be fair, I did mention that a while back and no one picked it.
Well, there's a
Well,
meme
just
going
because we
on
didn't,
around
just
that
because
right
we
now.
picked like a different, you know what I mean? There was like multiple options, right?
yeah.
You know, so we just because we picked something else doesn't mean we didn't want to pick that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we could figure that one out at another time. I'm down with doing pretty much anything.
I'll start working on my barbarian.
Hey, why would you work on a barbarian? Like,
No, I like this trio.
yeah.
Don't do this to me.
Yeah, I'm down for whatever, but my preference.
I mean, a time
would be...
skip seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Like, like Willow is not like an adventurer who just goes out and adventures every day, right?
Yeah.
Or anything like that. And I don't think Talia is necessarily like that either. So there is
No,
reasonable for these characters to spend 3 months not going out and finding secret archaeological libraries of Tabahal.
Yeah. So like,
I mean,
we could definitely go ahead.
I also think that like like the goal was to play through a year, right? A year in the life of these characters before we go back to the other characters. But like, every day takes 3 sessions, so like we can't actually play through a whole year and ever
Nope,
get
only
back.
5 years until we get back to those other characters.
Yeah.
5 years of real time to
yeah.
do 1 year of like in-game time. So I think that having a time skip also, like in terms of like what our goals are for this campaign, kind of meta wise, would also be cool.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, my favorite thing about little things like this is I love me a noble Sweet 16 party where it's
Really,
never
I
just a party.
couldn't tell. I couldn't tell, Kelly.
It's my favorite. Oh. But yeah, I mean, I have stuff to talk about, but if we wanted to kind of like mingle on the characters and like time skip stuff and like, different ways to play out, characters' big motivational interests while also keeping the party together as a whole, like, I'm down for talking more about that as well. Or not.
I mean, Tali is pretty much down for anything, but like isn't gonna the other thing is like all 3 of these characters are relatively independent outside of like Willow and Zola, like Willow being kind of tied to Zola. They're all pretty independent people. So I also like Tali would never advocate, like if Taratha was like, I'm going here, she'd be like, cool, have fun, right? Like unless Taratha was like, come with me, be my bodyguard or something, like she would just be like, cool, have a good day, like like she wouldn't stop anyone from like leaving.
Yeah, it seems to me, based on just the makeup of the group, that if we wanted to play out some of the thing, that it would be reasonable for Tali and Taratha to go, but maybe not Willow for like this short 2 or 3 session romp or whatever it is.
I'm also like completely fine. Like Kelly and I can do this like offline or something. It's just it would not be in Taratha's character to say no to
Right.
this.
Yeah. No, and I don't think that
No,
you
yeah,
should
that makes
either.
sense.
Like, I think that you like it totally makes sense for Taratha to go. And Tolly would go with her because she finds this shit interesting too. So, not for the same reasons, but still.
Yeah. Yeah, because that actually, Corey,
Kelly
you brought
just
up a
breaking
thing.
the party again.
Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. No, I mean, I think.
Don't.
What?
Nothing. I just, I don't want to be
I
told
just-
to fuck off.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I just keep coming up with good ideas. I'm kidding. That was a little too facetious for me. But no, like we could still like do an offline thing, like it, just because yes, this is primarily on stream, but we could get the recap like on stream. But yes, like Corey and Leia, or just Corey and I could just, whoever ends up going on this expedition could be what was I gonna say? Just done offline, and you get the recap when we get back to when Taratha and Tali get back. So, because there's a lot of like small offline stuff, like especially like with Ash. I know that there was like a lot of offline stuff that we did, just like working through different things.
Yeah, for sure. There was a lot.
I know, especially in that Paladin arc. I'm just like, oof. Yeah.
Well, that's because Tomas was so insistent
Well, it's true.
about being a good person.
That's true. Yeah, because I mean that was also me feeling bad about the Shadow Hellmayer fight, and I'm just like, oh man, I gotta fix this.
That's hilarious. That's the reason all that happened. What is even happening in my life?
I mean, I
You
figured.
should've just told me that.
But no, I also feel like Tomas would be the kind of person to do that. Like, he just like he was still writing the guilt of the old man thing on the the only gift that Ash got that wasn't like so like that was some deep-seated guilt on Tomas's end. So it still made sense.
Hilarious.
Cause like I remember telling Corey about that. I'm like, Corey, I got the coolest idea. I'm gonna have him write something mean on the collar of Ash's shirt because Ash is a shit. And then you were just like, Ash is like genuinely like taken aback and very thankful. I was like, fuck.
That was so good.
Like I felt like all like sneaky and awesome, and then that happened.
Well, and then Ash went and was a good person
I know.
for a minute. Like,
I know.
Oh, that was funny.
I think that was good. Like that's probably one of the better examples of storytelling across the entire time we've been playing, because it was very natural. It made sense, like for the characters to act in the way that they did, right? Like, and like it had like real repercussions for like a minor thing. Like that's what real life is like, sadly, or maybe good. I don't know, but that's, you know what I mean. Like it was a good thing. It was one of my favorite moments of this campaign.
Yep.
Yeah, that was, I mean, for Ash, that was like a real moment, like a growing moment too, like in terms of like a actual look at his own life, which he doesn't do very often. So.
Only when people close to him die.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yep.
And then he becomes new people. That's how he deals with that. He doesn't actually ever deal with any of his emotions. He just becomes a new person.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So is Ash just like the kind of like fantasy eat, pray, love equivalent?
Oh God, no, that hurts my soul. Jesus. No.
You don't have to respond to that.
Yep.
So, Kelly, you had questions and things you wanted to ask us.
Yeah, we mentioned over like IM briefly because we talked about alignment last week, but we didn't talk about racial alignments, and I thought that would be a fun thing to talk about, especially since like I think Corey, you're on a bit of a goblin kick too, but like just
Yeah,
different.
goblins are fun. I've literally been kicking them. It's been a lot of fun. Just to catch up for those who are watching, well, we talked about a lot about alignment and what alignment can mean. Not to rehash that conversation, but when it comes to races, like each like a lawful good goblin might have different cultural and societal values than say a lawful good human or a lawful good tiefling. There are so many factors that kind of make up what is good and what is lawful. Um, that I think that could be fun to talk about because what might be a lawful good tiefling may not jive with a lawful good goblin. They might actually conflict with each other, might cause pain to someone in ways that we may consider as not good or maybe constitutively evil. But culturally, it is seen as fine.
Mhm. I really enjoy playing characters that kind of challenge the sort of um like cultural values of quote unquote like common D&D characters, and I don't mean common in like a, you know, basic bitch sort of way, but just like ones that speak common and grew up in sort of like this collective that like people expect. Like I think the closest like the most uncommon common one would be like dwarves and elves, which are very insular and sort of have their own sort of laws and communities outside of like the larger like empires or governments that exist. But then there's also like drow and goblins and other races that are a little bit more on the fringe. And I know that Eric, you played Joy, who did that a lot. And right now, I'm having a lot of fun playing a goblin in two different campaigns that are both lawful characters, um, but you know, very different from what, like from the quote unquote like normalized D&D society. So if we wanted to revisit kind of the conversation of, because I know that you mentioned why you like Joy in part was because you know she kind of challenged like what people expected characters to know and for how they should operate. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun to like kind of think outside the box in that regard, right? Like, not to like see a tavern or to even like see right like the nozzles that the beer come out of, right? And think of them not as like, oh, that's just a thing that but think of it as like, whoa, that's amazing. That's a waterfall. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like trying to like reimagine the world in certain ways, which I think it can be pretty fun and I think led to Joy being kind of it was a fun character to play, but also like led to a lot of cool interactions with like NPCs and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
I think that like it really I think it depends on like the character a lot of the time. But I do like it, especially when a party has characters who like. I think it leads to much more interesting party dynamics if people are really in earnest trying to play out like a characters who has like is a different race and has like a different thing. Like too often, I don't want to say too often, but I'll just say too often anyways. Too often, I think we see like an elf character, for instance, who doesn't really who plays them off as just like another human, right? Or someone who plays a dwarf as just like a short human. You know what I mean? Or like someone who plays a half elf and doesn't really critically consider, because a half elf is like one of the best races or whatever, right? But doesn't critically consider like what does it mean for you to be half elf, half human? Like that's a weird place to be, right? Like I think my wife's current character in our campaign, I think she's kind of pretty interesting. She like doesn't know who her father is. So that's like an interesting hook into the campaign. She's and because she's a half elf, she was rejected by elven society. So she finds new family in the party, right? And she calls the people in the party like her brothers and sisters, right?
Yeah.
And so like that's like right. That's not necessarily a full revamp of like of like alignment or anything like that based on race, but it is like the character is very much informed by what race they are. And I try to play Willow kind of like that, I think, a little bit too, with like being of the Sheena clan, being a little like ethereal, like kind of placed a little outside of society, but not like completely. But you know what I mean? Like kind of being rough around the edges a lot of the time. Because she doesn't necessarily just subscribe to that. I guess she doesn't believe that society works for her. She believes that she works for her, and that's like a different way of looking at the world than a lot of people in Vara.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I admittedly am dropping the ball a little bit because you do look like, with the exception of the eyes, like the pharaohs of society. So, like, I figured, like, with the people that she interacts with Vara are kind of used to her, but, like, in Bucrol, you haven't really been getting that response that really would have warranted, uh, based on your appearance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind because like I didn't pick the appearance because of the similarity to the artificers, though that is like an interesting coincidence that like can be played out. I picked it because like I
The
thought that
aesthetic.
the Kalishtar race and like I love like the idea that like they don't dream when they sleep, right? They relive the past memories of those who've had like the spirit that is like within the clan. I find that to be a really engaging way to understand a character, right? Um, and so that to me like I don't mind that as much, right? That like she doesn't get confused for the artificers a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it also really depends, like in terms of. I mean, I guess this doesn't really have to do with racial alignment, but like oftentimes when I'm doing my own homebrew spaces, like it matters more about where you come from, not necessarily the race that you are, which is interesting to see how players will then interact with that because oftentimes they will come into something thinking that it really matters what race they are. And in my head that's not actually not actually like a thing that I take into account for most of the races. There are some races that are like half elves, for instance, in this world that like Kelly's playing in right now.
Yep.
Like they have an interesting space because elves are like basically unseen because they're like they have very much like taken themselves out of larger society and kind of exist in their own country and don't really leave the borders, and so half elves are not disliked, but they're not always trusted depending on where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
But for most of the other races, they're just kind of like, yeah, you're this thing and whatever, it's cool. Like you're not going to be treated differently because of what race you are, but you might be treated differently because of where you're from. So like, like if you're a southern dwarf that's in the northern mountains and can't take the cold, like those dwarves are going to like be like, what the fuck? You're a dwarf. Why can't you take the cold, right? Like so like and Kelly hasn't really run into that yet cuz they've stayed kind of in the same spot, but
Can we stay in that
um,
spot forever?
I mean, y'all could yes, but no because you've chosen to go to the Wonderwoods.
I know. It's just to start
um,
off, like, because, like, half of the party's sailors, and I'm just like, oh, it's nice being able to use all of my stuff right now.
yes, yeah, but the other half of the party
I
is like
know.
very land based.
I know.
Like you have a centaur in your party,
I know.
so
Where we're going,
and
we
like
don't need stairs.
it's actually really fun to have a centaur in the party though because the centaur complicates bodily some of the things that you would normally do in D&D. So like you can't go down a hole with a centaur.
Access issue.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's access issues. It's like so I have to plan around that as a DM, which is interesting because then I have like some things that the centaur can't do, but then there's always a workaround that you have to find in order to make it so the centaur can participate.
Yeah, I think we did ask because with the teleportation circles that we got, we're like, oh, is this centaur accessible?
Yes. Yeah. So they've started asking in character like is this accept like can the centaur utilize this thing that you have given us,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting and fun.
You see similar things with actually smaller races as well. Like in the party that I play in after this, I'm a goblin. Someone else is a gnome. We've got a human and then a furbolg. And like every time we go to a tavern, the DM is like, "Yep, there's stools that are fine for all people of different sizes. They have little step up ladders for the small people. There's big ones for the big people." So I like it when kind of like issues of access are made explicit in gameplay.
Yeah. I mean, like, so in my world, most of the people are short people. Most of the
Yup.
races, like, the bulk of the people are actually short races. In terms of like just populace.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, and you guys haven't really run into this yet because you have been in a spot where they have lots of tall people and lots of short people, and so everything is just kind of made for everyone. And it's going to be really fun when you start getting into spots that are not made for tall people at all. Um, because you're walking into halfling and gnome territory, which is like the bulk of
I
the con.
love it so
Um,
much.
so like that's, I think, is gonna be fun. But I don't know. I always found the race alignment thing weird.
I mean, I think
I
it
never
makes
really understood
sense
it.
as a, like, so for example, like with Drow, there's like a whole lore behind that. So, like, I understand that it should not, no alignment or racial thing should be like the be all end all of a character. But it does help you kind of understand the lore and make you understand the character deeper in a little bit. And, so like, if you're like, oh yeah, I want to be a Drow because dark vision and these extra things, like, yeah, that's cool, do what, play what makes you feel cool. But then when you see, like, oh, why are they lawful evil? Oh, it's because they're actually a really evil race because of all the, living in the Underdark and having, like, slavery be a normal thing. And, it's very rare that they make it to the surface. So I'm already an outlier, and why would I make it to the so I think, having the racial alignment is interesting and helps for understanding the lore that might have been ignored if you were just going by, oh yeah, this sounds cool, or that race looks cool.
Right. I guess I don't uh like it. It places entire races into particular boxes that I just don't appreciate. Does that
Mm-hmm.
make sense? Like the idea that every single person outside of the player character is
Yeah.
gonna be lawful evil because cultural reasons. That's not good enough.
What if so like this maybe will rile up the anthropologist in you a
Uh
little.
Yes,
huh.
it
But what if
will. Yes.
instead of viewing it as like as I'm pretty sure like when I look at like when it says humans, it says like humans can be found all over the spectrum. And like when it says halfling, it says halflings are generally lawful good. So like there, there's like this general like kind of thing. What if that the lawful good, lawful evil, chaotic, whatever, that's not necessarily indicative of any individual, but just of the culture as a whole trends in that particular direction. Like the culture of kobolds is evil in some
But
sense
my
because
so I guess
or
my
something like that.
question is, what is it evil in relation to? Right? And that's a very anthropological question, right? Like why are they always like, what about this culture? You will never ever have a culture that is uniform across race because of the thing that you were born as. Culture isn't just like I pop out and I believe in slavery. Like that's not like that's,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like that's not how that works. Or like, if you have the Underdark, which is huge. It's a vast fucking space, okay? Like that's, it's as big as the upper world. And you're going to tell me that every single fucking drow has the same culture? I'm sorry, but that's just wrong.
Yeah, I
Like,
guess
right, like it's too much for me. But I'm also an anthropologist, so I'm sitting over here like this just not how, like, particularly because a lot of like gamer bros, right, like, the toxic kind of masculine archetypal kind of dude is always like, but you can't do that because that couldn't really happen in real life. And then will also argue this with me, and I'm like, okay, you want to talk about what would and would not happen in real life? Like, like all of Drow could not have the same culture. That's not the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think I agree with you like in principle, like you know what I mean. But I think like in terms of like imagining D&D as this space for play and narrative, I think that kind of shorthand becomes it is I hesitate to say the word necessary, but it really importantly helps both the players and the dungeon master like situate themselves in a sense. So like being able to think to yourselves, okay, they're kobolds. Kobolds, are evil in the sense that like they believe that the strong should just flat out rule, right, and that the strong can do whatever they want.
But I
Like
don't. I think that is like so. And I really don't mean to be insulting right now, but like that is so narrow-minded in terms of what a game could be and the way that we can step out of like okay, so yes, like for human beings it's super important that we have categories, but in our to like, be able to hang things on and be able to say this is how we share, particularly this imagined space. Like we need to have these hooks that we can hang things on and everyone has kind of a shared understanding of what they are. And so I agree with you in that respect, but that also limits us to a very specific type of thought and creation of a very specific type of imagined world that fits with things that are already like racist and sexist and all of that stuff that just kind of continue to allow us to keep thinking in the same categories as reality, where imagined worlds could do so much more than that and take us out of like help our brains rethink what it means to create reality. And I think that when we put ourselves in boxes of morality, because that's really what that is, right? It's boxes of morality, that becomes really problematic. So that for me is like the reason why I use alignment to understand my character, but I'm not like in my own games. All of that gets thrown out because I'm like, no, I'm
Definitely.
sorry. Like, no, I'm sorry. Like, not everyone in this racial category that also happens to kind of represent black people are gonna be fucking lawful evil. Like, like,
No,
I don't
that
know.
totally makes sense. And I was being more just pushing you to see to get the justification maybe more than it was than necessarily like from a disagreement perspective.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I definitely generally agree with you. Like this is very mild spoilers for the current campaign that we're running, but like the current campaign, you know, like if humans are in general the standard for white people, right, or something like that, like we're kind of in like an Asian kind of fantasy where like they're like all the characters live in like an empire, right? But the empire is like pretty constantly like not necessarily at war, but like there's like this whole society of orcs like that are across this mountain range, and that they've been at war many times. But the orcs are actually like a democracy, and like you know they have like a more like you know what we consider modern kind of style of government than like the human people do, or like the you know I often will just try to take like the what I imagine like to be like the core ideas that race embodies. So like for instance, like elves to me, they live for a long time. It's like really important. So like whenever I make an elven culture in my world, I start with that assumption like if these people live for a long time, what does that mean, right? How do they relate to the world differently? I don't necessarily think they're good or bad, right? But think instead from like some other core point, and then like kind of let that flower out and see where it leads.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that particularly when we're talking about creating categories for our imagined spaces, because you have to do that. Like, I don't know that you have to do that, but it's very helpful to players and the DM to be able to have like this is the knowledge that we share and can all see kind of in our heads together. And to have those core things like elves live for a long time, and I totally respect that. Like that's what I try to do with my own countries, right? Like I put together countries and I'm like I give blurbs about each of those countries, and that's like the core of that country and maybe some of the racial features that you would see because of cultural adaptation in those areas. Yeah, it's the alignment thing that gets my gizzard.
Corey, yeah, I'm still at a loss because you mentioned that like I was trying to fuck with you earlier in the campaign today. I still don't know what it is.
Taratha does not know what the fuck's going on. She walks up thinking she's doing a job. It's like, oh, Elcots were originally RSVP'd. Taratha does not know this.
Oh yeah, actually,
she is now navigating. She's navigating a political space where the Alcots have a table at the very secret society she's trying to find information on. She's not supposed to be there, but she kind of is. It's a weird situation. She doesn't know whether or not like Alistair just didn't tell her about this, or if there's something else at play. Like that's a fucked up situation. Like, did Alistair know she was going? He knows she's going to the city to not even tell her like, oh, by the way, I was invited to the Sweet 16 when there's so many other political elements that are happening. Is there another like I don't know what the fuck, she doesn't know what the fuck's going on. And you're literally fucking with Taratha right now.
I definitely was fucking with you. I just wasn't sure what I was like, but no, that was on purpose.
It's
Like
beautiful.
when I approach that door and you're just like, oh, are you here? Are you, like, oh, are you there's an Alcott or security? I'm just like, fucking what? Did
I
I
was
like
really.
not
I
remember?
thought that it was just like a standing invitation to like the thing, but I mean, your reading of it makes more sense than mine. But you know what I mean? Like, I didn't initially think you were getting fucked with for that reason.
And they're like, yeah, so we're gonna see you at the meeting later. And I'm just like, yeah, you're totally gonna see me at this meeting that I totally knew about later. Like, the fuck? And now she might be potentially brokering like alliances between families along the lines of a secret society that this reporter is trying to report. It's a fucking like. She's in a weird position right now. She loves it. As a character, as a player, I'm like, fucking, I don't know what to do. But as a, oh fuck, this is power. This is where you go and broker deals.
Yep. Okay, I'm glad we cleared that up because I'm sitting here as like I don't remember like what I did in that moment, but I was like, no, this whole situation was to fuck with Taratha.
And she is living for this. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be dope.
Mm-hmm. Closing thoughts. It is 5 o'clock.
D&D is fun.
D&D is so
D&D
much
is
fun.
awesome.
You know what? Not just D&D.
TTRPG.
Just, you know, TTRPGs are a lot of fun. Playing with y'all is fun. Also, anyone watching who don't know what to do for your next session, do a dinner party. Always do a dinner party.
But actually, playing poker or like some other card game in character is one of the funnest things you can do. So I would totally advocate Tabletop Simulator or something like that.
Absolutely.
And just like fucking go ham in character like that, because that I will sometimes with the right crew who like already know some of the card games, because it's harder to teach that.
Euchre.
While people are in character too. But like I will often start my Shadowrun campaigns with a card game, because a DM did that for us once, and it was like, wow, this is awesome.
That is cool. All right, and with that, we'll see you next week.
Bye.